think as long as this refresh goes well, I'm about to go on private. Or, you know what I'm saying?
On
On,
Yeah.
public.
yeah, go on public,
Okay.
unprivate.
I can check this channel as well.
Yeah, I was gonna do the same.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'm ready whenever.
Oh, wait, let me do one thing. I think I can.
Well, we're gonna go. We're gonna be live right as polls close.
I know,
Look at
it's like
us.
kind of like, it's ready, it's ready. Can I hide my fucking mouse? Because last time it was like all over y'all's face. It's just a weird artifact. Okay. Let us do it. In three, two, one, public.
Yep, we are live.
Yay.
All right.
Yeah.
Unmute that. Okay.
Well. So exciting. I really hope it's not as long as last time. Last time was a real nail biter. And honestly,
Yeah. Abdul took way too long to
he
win.
took way too long. He honestly, genuinely took way too long. And I don't know if like, I wonder if like there's just the state, you know, everyone's got their own rules. Some people are a little bit less, well, some states rather are a little bit less efficient with it, shall I
Yes.
say?
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
Michigan being one of those, unfortunately.
Michigan being one of those.
But yeah, if we would have had to keep going, I think for like 2 more hours on last Tuesday, I think, or 3 more hours or something to get anything out of any like results. I was like, nah.
It
can't
ended
be-
up being great though. I genuinely had a great time hanging out.
Yeah, hell yeah.
There was way more people from Michigan than I thought were going to be there. I was like, oh, it's like actually some on the ground data here, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was really cool.
So, what do you guys want to give your projections? You want to give your bets?
Oh
Hmm.
god.
That's a
It's a
good
risk.
question.
That's a risky maneuver.
Yeah.
I'm against gambling. What is this?
Yeah, no
Yeah.
Calci over
Yeah,
here.
anti-calci.
Yeah, come on.
Well, last time we were talking about like how much it's not a question of Abdul winning, it's like how much is he gonna win kind of thing. But
Sure.
now I don't even want to do that. But the polling for Hong has been like absurd. So
Right.
we'll see.
I mean, you would have been right. You would have the answer that was still the question. It was by
That's
how
true.
much. It just unfortunately was like real close compared to what we wanted it to be. But I'm
Yeah.
curious if like it's the same it's the same pollsters. So if they're gonna make the same mistakes, like who knows? Is this going to be an issue across the cycle, or is it just was it specific to Michigan? Like I don't know. And I think this is kind of it's going to be a little bit of eye opener in that way, you know?
Yeah.
Well, and
true.
I think that because this particular election cycle is like the first time we've seen Democratic Socialists winning across the board. I think that a lot of pollsters just haven't even really like adequately adjusted for that possibility. So it's been a bit of a wild card. There's people that think it's going to be wildly one way or the other, and so it's hard to actually pinpoint if it's just a Michigan thing. But I'm like, I think it's more of a national phenomenon that we're just going to keep on seeing.
I think so
Agreed.
too. I think we're going to have to lower our expectations a little bit, be a little bit sober up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we have some people in the chat. All right.
Hello.
Welcome in.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
agreed.
it's interesting to see. Yeah, this is another election where it's like a statewide election for out of New York. Like I feel like New York was the first time this year where we saw all of this go down. With Chevalier
Mhm.
and Brad Lander, and now we saw it in Michigan, obviously last week, and we saw it in Colorado with Milan Karos, and now here
Yep.
we are in Wisconsin on a statewide level in an actual like swing state.
We'll
See
see.
how it
Exactly.
goes.
It's like
You
big
know?
stakes. It feels like big stakes. And I know there was a lot of like negative campaigning, I should say, a lot of like negative Nancy's online, especially the last couple of weeks. Like um I'm curious what you guys think. I don't think the Thanksgiving thing was that big of a deal. Am I crazy?
Yeah.
Am I serious? Like
No.
I feel like I've heard way more about that than any like psychotic, insane thing that any conservative has said over the past week or month or years. You know, this was like even like AOC had that moment where she's like, "Yeah, woke one was crazy," you know, and who cares? Actually,
Yeah,
who cares?
who cares? Hey,
That one,
Olivia.
I was shocked when that one was the one that kept being recycled too, because I was like, and maybe this is because I'm married to an indigenous person, but I'm like, yeah, it do be a controversial
Yeah,
holiday sometimes, and it's not that controversial to say that.
Yeah, at this point, it's like that's not even woke
Especially
one.
what?
That
no,
predates woke one. That's
yeah, that's
like
just
you know,
it's just it is just a fact, and
it's
also
like
not even a like just like yeah
and
yeah
especially in a
like
time when Pete Hegseth is like honoring the massacre of Wounded Knee and being like, "Oh, those guys are heroes." I think it's maybe we should reiterate that there's a lot of negative things that happened around what we consider to be. But and you know what's really interesting, looking at what's happening over at Gaza, I think we can see firsthand that settler is not necessarily a friendly noun, right? Like
mhm.
I think we can all agree that there was probably a lot of people with some negative emotions around that holiday, even if the holiday itself on a personal level is like
Yeah,
pleasant, right?
I
Yeah.
like eating too much, pie and turkey and all that. Cool,
Yeah, me
sure.
too.
Yeah.
But yeah, what it all stands for, I think that is so. It's one of the least controversial things, and I also am getting like so sick of that. Yeah, that callback to pearl clutching woke 1.0, like that's now happening more on the right, where it's like you can't say that, and all these people are saying these horrible things, and it's like, weren't you guys the ones that just a couple years back were like, you know, uh, we need to abolish cancel culture, and everybody is too
Yeah,
baby
exactly.
meanies about it.
A hundred percent.
Conservatives are so much more into cancel culture these days than liberals like ever were in like the peak of
Yeah,
like
I was like,
cancel
wow, you
culture.
guys are bringing
You know,
woke back in a real big way. What's going
yeah,
on here?
it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I'm seeing some people in the chat. Hi from Texas. Someone said they voted today for Hong. Shout
That's
out.
awesome.
Um,
Heck yeah.
Let's go.
we're hoping that someone said I hope this is shorter than last week. Us too.
Thanks.
Us too.
Thanks for letting me know the
Um,
mics were low. I appreciate the feedback. Thanks for keeping us.
So yeah, hopefully, I mean, polling is looking like it'll be hopefully Francesca Hong will not have too much struggles getting the nomination. But again, we'll have to wait and see. You know, we thought Abdul would get it much quicker than he did. He ended up
I
getting it after
know.
all in the first place. So we were right in our predictions, but
Hello
you
from Florida.
can never be too careful.
Yeah, you can't be careful. I think that the other thing is too that Tom Tiffany is like a horrible. I don't know that much about. I mean, I'm from Texas too, just like somebody in the chat there. Like, I don't know much. I don't know much about Tom Tiffany until this like election, and everything I hear about him, I'm like, oh my god, he's like sucks. He's like super sucks. Like he can't say anything like to help himself like at all. I saw a clip today that was like. Oh man, what was it? He was like, "Oh, I don't think if somebody invades your privacy without you finding out, then your privacy
Yeah.
has been invaded."
Then no, yeah, I saw that too. Crazy clip. Crazy thing to
Crazy.
say.
A
Crazy
crazy
thing
thing
to
to
say.
say. In times of AI data centers, when
And
flock
flock
cameras are going
cameras
everywhere,
and
like
yeah.
that is
Exactly.
a horrible thing to say in an election cycle. So I feel like he's a specifically bad candidate, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like DSA candidates and like progressive candidates like Francesca Hong, when they go when they're so much more when they're more focused on like the primary, I feel like they can't even like really take the gloves off as much as they really can when it becomes Republican versus a progressive. We've already been seeing it with El Sayed, right? Out in Michigan. He can now just go full front on Mike Rogers, just say, this guy is insane, right? Like he hasn't like that hasn't really been the motivation, because he needed to beat Haley Stevens. And now
Right.
I feel like we're gonna get a similar thing with Hong. Once the primary is over, it's like more and more people are going to recognize how much of an absolute psychopath Tiffany really is in this race, because I think a lot of it is just about the primaries and who's going to, all the different names and all the different things that happen in Democratic primaries like this will not be an issue, I think, for much longer.
I
Hopefully.
agree.
Someone said mics are still a little low. Really?
Yeah, I bumped him up a little bit after that. So let me know if they still
Cool.
are. Let me find Karneki Cam.
Kornacki Cam.
Did you send it to me? Go ahead and DM that to me if you haven't already.
Oh, sure. I got you. Yeah, he's been live for a long time. Like,
I'm sure, dude. I saw the clip from last week of him being like, "Oh, it's over." And I was like, dude,
Yeah.
he must have been on. He was doing
He
a
was-
Hassan style stream for like 8 hours. He's not used to
Oh,
that. He's not
God.
built for that, bro.
No, these guys. So that comes once every 4 years, not once every 2. They're not built for that.
Yeah.
Like the overnights for the presidential elections were always like so crazy, you know, and we had a little bit of that with El Sayed.
Yeah, I like my sleep too much, so I have to admit that I did just go to sleep and find out the next morning about
Yeah.
I was like, all right, guys, sorry, I'm gonna get my 8 hours in.
And this will not be a what's it called, 4 hour stream like last time. By the way, guys, we will
It's gonna be shorter.
it'll be
It's gonna be
shorter.
shorter. Okay, it seems like it's your mic,
Oh my
Tony,
gosh, sorry
that
guys.
we're having issues with.
That's crazy.
It's-
I hear
if
you
it's
loud
better-
and clear.
Lex
Can
and
you hear?
our lovely voices can be heard.
Yes.
I bumped my own mic a little bit. I don't know if that's
Very weird, but thank you guys for keeping us updated. Keep us posted on all the tech stuff because it's hard to
Yes.
tell from our end for sure. But yeah,
I don't think Mansky could beat Tiffany, right? I'm pretty sure it's going to be a blowout for Tiffany, right? I haven't heard anything about Mansky.
Yeah, I don't even think it's a competition. I think it's gonna be like 80-20.
We just got our first drop. We just got our first drop.
Dumps, big dumps.
Oh my gosh, Tom Tiffany's beating him. Mansky, come on, Mansky heads.
Mansky heads. Like our Mallory McMorrow heads. She didn't win.
No, I
Mallory McMorrow didn't win
know,
last week.
but you know what? We're all
I'm
pro
so-
Manly McMorrow in this household. She did
I'm
the
so
right thing.
surprised. The mic is better. Great.
Thank you
for
so
letting us
much.
know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I remember last week. Since I'm on the West Coast, it was a little bit easier to stay up and wait. It wasn't like super duper late. So I was still awake when it was announced that Abdul won, and I'm sitting around with my roommates, and none of them are nearly as keyed into politics as I am. They are because they have to live with me and deal with me. So they have to do a little bit like. So they're well educated in that regard, but I just was on my phone and I was like, oh my god, outside won, and they were like, what are you talking about? Like, you guys don't get it. Okay, this is a big deal.
It's a huge deal. Yeah, I know
Like,
my
you don't
family's sick of me
understand.
by now too, but
Yeah, it's like midnight or something. They're just like really tired. I'm like, guys, you have to be excited about this.
yeah.
Let me figure out how my Kornacki cam. Let me format this before I put it on the stream. Hold on.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Wow. So yeah, I have the stream pulled up here, so I can see with the delay and everything, and yeah, it's
like
these dumps of like 1,000 votes are scary right now.
Yeah, it's about
Mansky-
even. It's literally
with
exactly
30
even.
votes.
Mansky's pulling through with the 30. Jesus Christ, I would be so embarrassed to be. That's why I always feel so bad about these candidates who are like, why even be on the ballot if you have
Yeah, what are
zero
you doing,
chance
man?
of winning?
Yeah,
Man.
totally.
Holy.
Yeah.
Kornacki.
Yeah. Can we talk about how the DSA is going to pour into community outside of elections? I think building muscle. That's very true. That's very true. Someone in the chat had mentioned building community outside of just elections. I think that's 100% correct. Like obviously during election cycles, more eyes, more attention are on, especially nowadays with these insurgent progressive candidates we've been having. But 100%, like building up local community organizing is like the best way to go about, at least, especially locally, getting progressives into office when it comes
Totally.
time for elections.
Absolutely.
Well, and socialists have always been more, on the ground. That's something you and I were talking about, Tony, about like there is a lot of that kind of energy. And right now, I actually am thrilled to see that there is all this energy going into elections, because this is the first time I've ever seen this level of success on that front. But yes, we can't lose that momentum just because we're having some wins.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
I think it's a
gonna
first
build,
order thing.
right?
Yeah, it's like that's like why we're having so much. I think it's so funny. Like there's the same thing. Like, oops, sorry. People always like say like, oh, it's such a blue wave. That's why we're so successful right now. And it's like, well, it's a blue wave because there's been such an on the ground progressive like push towards like getting people into politics, right? Like those two things are not so. Like now, I think it's very funny when like moderate or centrist like consultants like Neera Tanden are like, if the DSA would just get out of the way, we could win this. It's like, dude, if the DSA wasn't here, then we'd literally like would not be anything right now. We are super fascist state.
Trickle, but it wouldn't be the tsunami.
No.
Because people are sick to death of just the diet MAGA, left, left, I say. So yeah, no, I completely credit that it is the DSA's energy that is actually, bringing people out to vote in larger numbers.
Yeah.
100%. Especially people who don't usually vote, like low turnout voters, especially like young voters, people my age, like in the 18 to 25 into 35 demographic. People my age don't vote, especially in like Democratic primaries. Are you
Yeah.
kidding?
Unheard of.
Like that never happens. But
This
we've
is
seen it with
unheard of
Al-Sayed,
energy.
with Zoran, with like these young candidates. They're getting young people out to vote because they're energetic. They have something to fight for, and they're speaking to this group of people that feels completely disenfranchised in their, power and their worldview, and they're actually getting some results. Right? Someone in the chat mentioned Zoran actually delivering.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's kind of one of the few examples we have right now of a Democratic Socialist in power who's getting a lot done, right? Because a lot of them are in the election cycle still, but he's a guy you can point to and be like, hey, look, it's working, right? And that's like invaluable right now, I think, especially for a lot of people running right now, to point to Zoran and say, we can do that too.
Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, because the line has been for so long, well, we've already tried socialism in the world and it hasn't worked or whatever. And then it's like, but have we actually tried what, the DSA candidates are really proposing? And so now they can't pretend like there aren't things that are working on the ground with Mamdani. So it's beautiful to see like real life examples.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really just makes the disillusions all the Red Scare, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're only at point. Someone's asking how we're looking. We are only
Yeah.
at 0.7 of the expected vote in. Crowley is currently leading, but nobody freak out. Nobody freak out. It's only a few thousand votes.
Yeah, people are wondering like who's the progressive. It's Francesca Hong. She is.
It is Francesca Hong.
She is the very progressive candidate.
Huge drop. We just got a projected winner on the Republican side, everybody.
Oh my God.
Tom Tiffany. He did it. He defeated.
Literally 20 minutes ago, we're talking, what do you think the margins are going to be for Tom Tiffany? We're not even, polls closed 14 minutes ago.
Yeah, that's insane.
1% of the vote.
Yeah, 1% of the vote, and they're like, yeah, we know. It's all good. But yeah, Francesca Hong is the progressive running in this race.
DS candidate, she is a DSA endorsed, I believe, with her not nationally
No,
endorsed.
her
Oliver Larkin next week is nationally endorsed.
Yes, I'm excited for that one.
Very excited.
Yeah, me too.
Got a video coming out about Oliver Larkin on Hannity last night. Hopefully soon, which is insane.
Should be up soon.
I love Oliver Larkin, man. He is so awesome. He is so cool. But that is next week. This is Wisconsin this week. Yes, someone.
And it's currently looking like David Crowley is leading at the moment. I think this was expected considering, where votes come from, how long it takes to count.
I think this is all same day stuff right now. Yeah,
it's all same day.
Yeah.
Let me actually pull up some analysis from what people are saying.
Someone else said they voted for Hong. Shout out.
Shout out.
That's huge.
Our Wisconsin socialists out here.
Yeah, we're hoping for Hong for governor, and then Oliver Larkin is running in Florida next week, so that'll be next week's conversation. But Hong is this week, and she is projected to win. A lot of projections and polls and all the Kalshi and all this kind of stuff has said that Francesca Hong is the favorite candidate. But of course, as we know, it's not always the case, and we'll have to wait and see how things come in. But the votes right now are very same day voters, which will, I think, favor Crowley a little bit more, for sure.
I believe there was this website I found like after the stream yesterday that was the DSA just like having a list of all of their endorsements and the candidates that they're supporting and whether or not they're winning. And I was like,
nice.
God. I voted Hong. Yay, good.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, don't trust those polls. No, you're right. We obviously like after everything, you can't be certain about anything ever as a progressive. But again, 1.4 of the percentage of the vote is in right now, right? We're literally just looking right now at the very, very, very early numbers.
And I feel like this happens every time too, where the first few drops tend to be for the establishment and just the way they end up, like how the votes are counted.
The establishment mirage, the corporate mirage.
Yeah, the corpo mirage. To dissuade you and for you to turn away.
Yeah.
Yeah, same day does tend to vote Republican. Yeah.
Very true.
Just reading chat.
Oh, big poll drop just came in. Good for Hong. This is an interesting race because obviously it's statewide. It's for a governor, which I think is very interesting. and it would be, I think, the first DSA-backed governor in
I
ever.
believe so.
I
Yeah.
think you're right. Yep.
I think. Not 100% sure, but like a statewide Democratic Socialist candidate governor would be huge for Wisconsin, and definitely another like Zoran style candidate you can point to and say, like, listen, she's getting stuff done, right? Hong is a very strong candidate. She is, think of a progressive policy position. She's Medicare for all. She is, for keeping money here at home, for fixing our roads, bridges, all this kind of stuff. So she will be able to get a lot done if she is if she's able to take this primary, and then of course the general come November against Tom Tiffany, as we now know, because he's the projected winner after 2 minutes of voting, because his opponent has gotten 300 votes so far, and he's at 10,000. So sorry, Andy. Better luck next time, I suppose.
There's always next time, buddy.
Yeah,
For sure.
but hey, it happens. I'm
Please
pretty
follow
sure.
the Minnesota Senate race. Oh yeah, that's happening too.
Yeah. I was just.
Yeah, I think Tony
back.
might be looking at pulling those numbers up as well.
Awesome. Yep. I'm doing the same here.
I'm pretty sure it's ever that anyone has been a DSA gov. Yeah, I'm pretty sure too. Someone just mentioned the AOC endorsement. I think that is an interesting conversation to have, right? About endorsements from congressional figures to statewide elections and things like that. Like, obviously, AOC has endorsed certain representatives and people running for Congress, but not statewide office holders, like Francesca Hong. She was even asked about it, and she said, "I'm only focusing on winning back Congress." So that's a good question, actually, for like, what do you guys think about AOC not endorsing Hong?
She said that thing about, and I'm a big proponent. Like, one of my opinions is that, like, I hate that politics is a job. I don't like that. I don't like that like career politicians exist. I don't like that they're friends with the Republicans. I don't think that's necessary for I fucking hate that shit. And I think a lot of this like cross endorsement stuff, it looks weird from our perspective, because we're on the outside of their workplace, right? Like, these are internal political decisions that they're making, not macro political decisions that are part of the movement. They're about making, like, making good in the hallways of Congress. So AOC doesn't want to step on any toes, and same thing with Zoran, and that's why whatever. So like, I'm of the vein that it doesn't really like that their reasons for doing it aren't, I don't really care, but I do see that they're useful strategic, like, for when they do them. Like, I think it would be more effective for the movement if they did just fucking endorse across, like, based on what the DSA says and based on what everyone's feeling and stuff. Like, it would be more effective. So I think this is a kind of a symptom of a bigger issue, I guess.
I agree with that. I was gonna say, because this is not the first time that, and I'm, nothing against a lot of AOC and obviously Mamdani, and how they go about things, because again, from a strategic standpoint, like you were saying, because it's their job, fine, but it does. I think it absolutely takes the public the credibility, because we don't, like you said, we don't know what it's like in the halls of Congress. So we're just like, well, then we start thinking like, well, what's wrong with that candidate versus this candidate? Or I think it adds some confusion to the overall movement of the DSA, because if you're not just going across the board, then what is it about that candidate? And okay, she's saying it's because they're not a representative, but what does that mean to the public? We don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It means not. It looks like Francesca Hong is closing her lead. I don't think Madison is in yet, which is going to be a huge drop is expected to be a huge drop for Hong, obviously. So I would be a little bit, weary of this. But yeah, Peggy Flanagan has jumped ahead
of
Angie Craig, which is huge. We love Flanagan. We love how stylish she is, of course. Let's go. Another 3.2%.
Nice.
But we are only at 0.2 of the vote. So
yeah, 0.2% of the vote.
Very early, everybody.
Slower on the count than Wisconsin.
Very early.
Another big bump right there that we just saw on screen. That's pretty huge.
Yeah, we need a big bench. We can't be. I think that, like, I'm just not a fan of centralization in general, of political power, of authority. I'm just not a fan. It's just not safe for, like, it's very easy to kill a movement if it's only centered around a few stars. So I just think that realistically, any kind of like strategic play for their own political future to make sure that they can like lubricate the gears of Congress and get some things passed, I'm going to like, defer to them, right? When
Mhm.
it comes to how to get those things done. Am I happy about it? No. But I think that realistically, there's a lot of like strategic decisions that we can make that are actually bigger than like, that are more impactful than like endorsements, right? Like I think what we were saying at the beginning of the stream about like being like in community with people and making sure that we have the infrastructure in front of people. And honestly, like this is going to be a huge, whether or not Francesca can pull this off, is going to be a huge indictment on the strategy that her campaign took. Right. I know there's a lot of debate about whether or not she should have done more when it comes to ad spending, right? More direct, challenging of the media infrastructure that already exists. And she very openly was like, no, like, I think that this new strategy that we have is the reason why we're leading the polls. But as somebody pointed out in the comments, you can't trust the polls. So, we'll see. I think there is something to be said about the community. Absolutely. But there's also something to be said about the power of influence and media just getting beat over the head by bad ads.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
especially there's been this, because I've been in politics and in community organizing for a long time, and then post 2020, obviously, so many things have gone to more digital isolated spaces for for people. So I get the sort of wanting to push back on doing media and ads. Like I understand from an old school socialist perspective why some people are squeamish about that, but on the other hand, there is something to be said about influence and getting people, because there isn't the same town square literally
Yeah.
in it is digital spaces for that. So
Right.
Exactly. And we've been seeing that, I think, a lot we talked about this a little bit last week with El Sayed, but the online right they've been good at it for a while. Getting
yes.
their like more fringe, aspects of the Republican Party are very supported by the Republican Party's platform and big money behind them. Like I think Nick Fuentes, Tucker Carlson now, Candace Owens, Ben Shapiro,
Yep.
Matt Walsh. I mean, there's like a whole list of them. But when it comes to progressive figures, you don't have that, right? Like I
Yep.
just listed 5 of them off the top of my head without really even thinking about it. Whereas it's almost impossible to do that for the other end, right?
Yes.
100%.
Yeah, exactly. There's
It's-
Hassan Piker, because
Yeah.
that's the only one that they want to,
Yeah,
talk about.
but they
like,
actually hate him and don't
Yeah.
like him at all.
and so that's the
But
only
the-
reason why anybody even knows his name now. But I mean,
Right.
we in these spaces know his name, but yeah, you're right. It is not nearly as prolific on the left to have those just
Nope.
being able to rattle them off. Yep.
And I think it's helpful to have a platform like that, or at least to have some semblance of a community like that online that doesn't just exist in person, which of course in person on the ground organizing is everything in
Yes.
races like this, especially local races, getting out there,
Yep.
door knocking, phone banking, all this kind of stuff. But when it comes to like community building on a wide scale, I think it is really important to have online platforms, and also just to have figures that have sway and influence, and using that as part of your campaign. I think El Sayed did a pretty good job with it. Zoran is kind of the master of it, right? Like I feel like every one of his videos that gets released is like a viral video now that people just hear about. Like the guy who was like, oh man, it's really hot. We need water fountains in the park. And then
Yeah.
Zoran releases a video a day later that's highly produced, edited with music. And he's like, okay, yeah, we got it.
So where was that? Where was that for everyone else? I see John Deere. Hey, what's up, John Deere, in the chat? He says Milwaukee elected 3 historic socialist mayors in the 20th century, and I think coined the phrase sewer socialism, right? Which
Yes.
is like what Zoran Mamdani is like mirroring in New York, right? That direct. You can call him water fountain socialism if you want, or whatever, pothole socialism, whatever you wanted to call it. That's what it is. It's like making sure that the bare minimum of government is actually being done. And I think it is like this, like 1 step forward, 2 step back, like politics, lesser of two evils bullshit that we've all been like conditioned to get used to has resulted in us literally not even expecting the government to do something as simple as respond to you when you say, hey, there's this huge problem that I've been asking you to fix. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's really great to see that, like, something that has worked in this country before, right? Like Milwaukee elected 3 socialists. There's a huge history of socialism in Wisconsin as a state. And so this idea that this, like, we're bringing this big radical thing, right? Like Francesca Hong is going to come bring some crazy concept to the Wisconsin is just not true, right?
Yeah. No, it's just it's the fear of in response of the Republicans and also corporate Democrats who have had a stronghold on everything for the past 40, 50 years. Because back in before Reagan, really, there was a lot of different conversations about economic politics, especially, and then it fell off, right? And it's been very two-party for a long time, where the Democrats and the Republicans basically shake hands behind closed doors and get the same corporate benefactors and sponsors that they always have, right? And now there's finally a group that is getting a lot of momentum that started kind of with 2016 Bernie. Like, that's really when this modern age of progressive politics kind of happened. Like, you can just look at DSA numbers, like the national platform of paying due members, that goes up every single time that there's a very prominent progressive in the media. It jumps. We had Bernie 2016, then AOC in 2018, and then Zoran also had a big boost, and now it's the largest socialist platform in the history of the United States.
Exactly.
And so it's growing, right? It's growing. So we'll have to just wait and see what happens in the future. But it's already been a phenomenal election cycle, at least in the primaries, because that's when progressives really have the opportunity to get onto the ballot, right? Is the primaries, and we've already been seeing quite a bit of success in that regard.
Yep.
From New York to Colorado to Michigan, and now here we are in Wisconsin. So
we have 5% of Dane coming in, with Crowley up 1%. Not looking good. Well, that drop's not looking good. Hopefully, that's just 5% of the day. What's it called? Day of vote.
Yep. Excuse me. Water fountain. The
People are
correct term is bubbler, since I'm from Wisconsin. Forget about all those different terms for things across the country, like pop and soda.
Pop
and,
and
soda.
Oh,
just-
yeah.
Water fountain bubbler. Crisps is British.
Yeah.
Because they're wrong.
Because they're
Yeah, I'm gonna say, I
wrong.
was like, we can also just accept that some people are wrong. That's
Yeah,
fine.
no, listen.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I used to live in Scotland, and I remember the very first meal I had with one of the locals, I was, asking for arugula or something, and they're like, "Oh, you're gonna have a hard time here." I'm like, "What? Why?" And they were like, "Apparently they call arugula rocket." I was like,
Oh,
"Rocket? Yeah,
Rocket?
So yeah, Rocket. I went to London once and it was Rocket, and I was like, "What the heck? What is
yeah.
that?"
What is rocket?" And then I guess it has something to do with what part of like what part of French English adopted for certain things. So like rocket is actually it's from French, and so is arugula, but it just depended on which region we adopted, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a linguist, but that is what
Damn.
It's the beauty of our language. None of it makes any sense.
No, English, yeah, famously a language that makes a lot of sense and people can catch on to really easily.
Yeah.
I'm seeing some reporting online that the race is being moved to a toss-up right now. The Hong favorability, it might be slipping, but we have to wait until more of Dane just comes in, and that's where we see the flip. Just saw it. Let me flip over.
Some more Dane numbers just came in.
Just some more Dane numbers did come in. We got 20% in with Hong up 1%.
Okay.
Let me make sure this is actually
kind of
visible.
2% flip with that next dump. Gotcha.
Let me see the overall.
Statewide.
14% is in statewide. She's down 4 or 5%. There is still plenty of time here, folks. Don't panic. Fear not, friends.
Yeah, still plenty of time. But also, one thing I have to note, much quicker counting already from last week.
Already, yeah. Quicker pace. I'll say
At least
that.
we'll know one way or another, relatively soon if this rate keeps going up. Because Michigan is like, every time there was a drop, we like perked up and we're like, oh, finally. Oh, something. It's like finding an oasis in the desert. Thank God. What's the plan if Hong loses? Will you support the Democrat?
I mean, it has to be what it is. Like,
right?
It's
you learn from the defeat. You learn what went wrong, what to learn from, where things didn't work, strategies moving forward. and messaging, all that kind of stuff. And then at least when it comes to November, you support the Democrat, right? I think that is across the board what needs to be done, no matter what, because any Democrat is going to be better than a Republican. I mean, even like the Haley Stevens with El Sayed, right? Like we made a lot of videos and talked a lot about Haley Stevens, and she got a lot of money from AIPAC and was not saying nice things about Abdul El Sayed. And yet at the end of the day, once she lost, she said, I'm supporting him. I'm going to campaign with him. I'm going to root for him until the day the election's over, because Mike Rogers is a much bigger threat to America than in her eyes Abdul El Sayed is. And
credit to her for being so graceful. I have actually not seen quite that amount of grace from a corporate Dem, so I was pleased to see that. Because there have been some people that are like, well, if whatever candidate wins, then our tent doesn't accept them or whatever. So I was really happy to see her do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like partially a survival thing, and the other time, like I think like as a progressive on the left, I'm very used to plugging my nose and voting for the lesser of two evils, right? Like I think this isn't going to be the first time that I voted for a center or like supported a moderate who I do not fully support in a lot of ways, but I think at the end of the day, like Tom Tiffany's a piece of he's a piece of garbage that like is like genuinely a fascist. So I don't think that like, I think we always have to like, compare what isn't right in front of us.
And I think that it starts to bug me when people, are talking about like, well, both sides suck. And it's like, well, to an extent, corporate Democrats do suck, but do they suck worse than the fascists? No.
Not so much.
It's not even
not all of them. Jared Moskowitz definitely does.
He's pretty tough.
Super sucks.
He's
about as
like the worst
blue
Democrat,
you can be as a Republican. But like most of them are fine. So I think
and most of them are not even close to how bad the badness of the Republicans
for the purposes of like, listen, and I get it. Like I like, we're looking at a Senate race right now with Penny Flanagan, like she's pulling ahead. This is looking like a much safer race, but we'll see. It's only 4%. But it's this like momentum. I think what I think we should warn against is like the deflation if something doesn't happen. Like we're used to a lot of wins right now. Like we have never been more up, right?
Yeah. That's true.
But like let's not fearmonger and pretend that like if something doesn't come out our way, then that means the whole thing is over and like it was all a lie.
That's exactly what they want to happen. The Republicans and the corporate Democrats, all the same, are waiting. They're waiting with anticipation for the second that a progressive loses a race to say, "We told you so. It doesn't work. Boom, never win again. Losers, 2 of these right here." Right? Like that is what they are waiting for. And hoping for every single minute. And one loss does not negate a major amount of wins that we've already gotten. And this is still early in the numbers. Right? Just so it's not even that even conversation, but like it is just so obvious that that's what they're waiting for this to happen. And the progressives, all of us cannot let them control the conversation like that, because it's just not true. It's just not true.
Just closing the gap here, guys. I mean, there's still hope. We got 20% of the vote in.
Oh, yeah.
We're looking at so quick.
We're looking, it's closing quick. So I don't think we're gonna have long to wait.
Oh my god. But yeah, just like across the board, I think that we've already, Tony mentioned we're up right now, and we are up. And so
some of this has been so unprecedented that it's like we got the margin here in our wins. So
people were shit talking Abdul winning. People were saying, "Oh, he only won by 2 or 3 percentage points." I'm sorry.
It's a win.
That was the most expensive Senate primary in the history of the United States, with $60 million of corporate money going against a guy who has been attacked by both the Republicans and the Democrats for months on end, and he was still able to win against the establishment pick. That's a win
in my book.
And yet the progressives only won that by 2 or 3 percentage points.
Right.
So it's not actually that big of a deal.
Yeah. And I think that somebody in the comments is saying it too. The state and local level are super fucking important too. We're still getting crazy amounts of wins and they don't get the same attention, right? Like one of the things that I want to do more on the channel is to highlight some more state and local candidates for various socialist level in various places. Cause you'd be surprised how many red states have socialists, openly socialist city council members and various mayors and all kinds of elected. So I think that we have to remember that the movement is more than any one race. The movement is more than any one individual. It's about making sure that our socioeconomic conditions can actually be improved by our politicians who don't put the the capitalist owner class's interest over the worker and over ours, the people, right? Like at the end of the day, that's what this is about.
Exactly.
Here,
100%.
here.
100%. Someone mentioned the Mike Lindell running for Minnesota governor, and I think that's just
Yeah,
so
I think
cool.
he's losing, right? Hold on, let me go find Mike Lindell. I saw something just now.
Because that's also something that's just like,
Oh
one of
no, Mikey, my
no,
pillow.
we
No.
gotta do a check-in. Oh no, poor guy.
Amy
Poor guy.
Klobuchar.
Yeah, shout out. No surprises there.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Oh my God, Mike Lindell, what a character that guy is. Love him. Someone just mentioned the chat, Mike Lindell, and I was like, oh yeah, he's on the ballot, but I think that DeMuth is gonna take it probably. We'll have to wait and see though. That would be insane. Mike Lindell has like a major political figure with actual influence and power. Be like if, I don't know, like Donald Trump, like the Apprentice guy, became president.
I
That'd be
literally
crazy.
was about to say that too. Yeah.
Speaking about progressives in a red state, Christy Burke won her primary in Tennessee. Well, shout out Christy. There we go.
Shout out Christy
Yeah.
Burke.
There is a lot, and even like obviously, yeah, Tony mentioned the big names get all the attention, but there's so many progressives out there in every single county and state and everything like that. And we're obviously, we're focused on the big names, but there's down ballot candidates all the way that have amazing politics, and there's great platforms, and there's great platforms that can tell you like what candidates have the beliefs that you hold as well, and all that information, like the DSA, who endorse and support certain candidates and all of that, which is super helpful for voting, because voting is a pain sometimes, all the time. Yeah, local could be considered much more critical than national. That's so true, right? Like, especially when it comes to how it impacts your daily existence and your daily life. Like, that's exactly what it is, right? Like, the Senate and the House do national things that impact the entire country, but they're very, broad scope, big brush, foreign policy positions, all this kind of stuff. But when it comes to like your roads being better, or your trash cans not overflowing, or a certain like buses coming on
Abortion
time.
rights.
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
or
100%.
abortion rights in your state.
Whether
That is
flock
so-
cameras we put up in your city.
It is so much more crucial to your everyday existence and your quality of life when a progressive is in charge. We've literally, again, it's impossible not to point to Zoran in this instance. Immediately got to action, and the lives of New Yorkers are getting better, and like the vibes there have just been electric for the past 6 months, and that's just how it's been, right?
Yeah.
With having him in office, and we've seen this before with other like every progressive thing that we have, like has come from progressives fighting, whether that was 50 years ago or today. Almost every single like thing that you can point to that the government does for you came from someone who put a lot of damn effort into making sure that happened, or a group of people, obviously. So 774,000 voted in the primary here in Minnesota. That's the highest I've ever seen in my life. Wow. Yeah, I mean, a lot more people are voting. We saw that also in Michigan. It was like broke turnout during presidential turnout, and it's a primary and an off year. So people are energized. People are actually really wanting change, and they're getting out there and voting for sure.
You see the gap closing here by around 2 points. So hopefully we'll see
we've been seeing this. We've been seeing
this is a nail biter too. I thought it would be a little bit more.
I thought we could kick back,
relax, just chat. Let's talk theory.
Especially after what we had last week. Like, oh man, yeah.
No, another fucking nail biter, and it's just one of the. Okay, listen, that's all you need. Steady wins the race.
Yep.
I think we have to remember that like we can't win them all, and this is one of those things too. It's like Zoran. People always like, well, he technically didn't win a 50%. He didn't. Like most people did not vote for Zoran, right? That's true. That's 100% true. If you held the election today, I think they'd vote differently. Okay. Like, I think that it's just one of those things where the success is so great that we are expecting to see like establishment numbers in these elections, which is already insane to think about when like, when the movement really kicked off. I guess you could say 2016, but like honestly, in the last year or two.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, Zoran's
well, and I think a lot of that is because honestly, this time around with Trump, the first, and don't get me wrong, for people that were more invested in what we knew was roiling under the surface. We knew that Trump 1 was terrible, but Trump 2 has even been blowing my mind.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
like I've been, and it is so visceral and immediate how many of us have felt the economic and, you know,
Yeah.
at least economic damage of that.
Yeah, he blew everything up, and people are recognizing that and seeing that and feeling the impacts of that, and also seeing it on their phones, right? I think
Yes.
ICE deportations over the winter.
Yes.
People were like, "What the fuck?" I wanted criminals that, you know, like people who voted for Trump, right? Their
Yes.
mind, they're
Yeah.
like,
Right.
"I thought we were
Like
getting
that
the
John
criminals
Gannon
out."
guy was like, wait a minute,
What?
my wife?
Yeah,
Or
and
my
then
fiance? What?
they're seeing people, you know, kicking and screaming, getting dragged, and they've been in the country for 30, 40 years. And then you see your groceries go up, gas go up because of the stupid war that he started for no reason, just at the behest of Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel because he told him to. And people are like, what the hell, dude? This is not at all what we voted for. Or people who didn't vote are like, well, holy shit, I don't want this anymore. This
Yes.
sucks.
And usually Republican administrations do a bit more of a slow burn.
Yeah.
They'll like pass legislation that's going to like go into effect after they're out of office, so then it looks like it wasn't, you know, this has been so immediate.
taking the economy.
Yes.
But it's not.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah,
I,
you're
think-
100%.
in that way, I'm glad that it's so immediate, so people can, you know, actually have their eyes open. But
True.
you know, it's catastrophic, and so people are getting out in the streets because they're like, "What else can I do? I can't
Yeah.
afford things anymore, so we got to do something."
And that's another reason the progressives are gaining so much momentum right now is because they're actually pushing for change to fix all of the shit that Donald Trump has broken versus a lot of corporate Democrats are like, let's go back to status quo. You know, let's whatever. Like they're kind of saying it every now and then. You hear Hakeem Jeffries or Chuck Schumer, you know, even like tickle the notion of like, we've got to actually do something major here, but they're not specific about it. And of course, I don't trust them. But
No.
the progressives are saying we need to shake up the system just as much as Donald Trump did, but in favor of you, in favor of the people, in favor of the working class versus in favor of billionaires and tech CEOs and stock, you know, people who own hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stock and all this kind of stuff.
Yes.
The stock market's
Looting
doing
the
great.
country and then
You haven't
hiding
seen
the,
that?
yeah.
The stock market's doing awesome. Is your life any better? No. Worse. Much worse.
Yes.
Because that's just how it goes with the Republican presidents, you know.
Every Republican president.
Bingo.
Yeah.
So it looks like Francesca Hong is looking like she's overperforming in Milwaukee, I believe.
Hey, all right.
Well, we can use a little overperformance right now.
Love that.
Milwaukee County, but Crowley unfortunately is overperforming elsewhere. So it looks
Okay.
like it's going to be a tight race all the way through until the end.
Okay, almost 40% of the votes
Almost
in. This is
40%
crazy. Shout out
in there.
Wisconsin vote counters, bro. Good on you guys. Holy crap.
Efficient.
Yeah, you guys are great. I should have crossed the border and voted illegally. Yeah, I wish I could have voted for Joe Biden a billion times.
I did.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is a nail biter. I mean, I'm assuming this means that Crowley pulled a lot of voters from rural areas of Wisconsin. Maybe the fear mongering tactic is effective for motivating a part of the Democratic base who doesn't want to see fundamental change.
Yeah, I mean, this is like, this is the big thing with the primaries is there's a lot of people who, you know, like don't want to, you know, push it too far. You know, they want to be safe. They want to pick the safe option because they want to beat Republicans, right? Every Democrat, like if you're a registered Democrat, you don't want Republicans in power. Like 99% of Democrats don't want that, right?
Right.
And people think that this is the best option forward. You know, like a lot of the things that progressives say, people agree with. Like I think people do want free healthcare. They do want better roads. They do want all these things, but they don't believe that it's possible because they've been fed this disillusion for so many years that better tomorrow is not possible, right? And that going this far is actually scary and you know, moving towards this mythical moderate that isn't going to vote for the progressive. And a lot of people are scared by that. And they want the status quo politician that speaks to their issues in ways that aren't as radical sounding and maybe not as quick to the jump to get things done. And so that has a lot of support. But at the end of the day, I think we're going to see this in Michigan with El Sayed. And I think we're going to see this across the country in a lot of these primaries, that voters are going to vote for the Democrat, right? Whether it's Francesca Hong or Crowley, whether it was Haley Stevens or El Sayed, the most important thing, as we were talking about earlier, is getting the Republicans out of power and keeping them out of power. And I think the vast majority of Democrats are going to, you know, fall in line and vote blue no matter who. I hope so.
Yeah.
There will be those out there that don't. James Carville comes to mind that guy.
Yeah.
He keeps calling in. This guy is supposed to be the voice of the Democratic Party, and he keeps calling him like laying on his bed, like completely like this. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Have some like decency, bro. What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Somebody said they didn't even know David Crowley. Yeah, it's funny because he dropped out of the race. He dropped out of the race for a while there, and then everyone was trying to get behind Mandela Barnes, and then Mandela Barnes dropped out of the race, and here comes Crowley again. So it's really interesting. I'm actually genuinely surprised there's this much, and which is why I'm leaning towards this really being an anti-Hong vote more than a pro-Crowley vote, which is like I think kind of towards the is something to say about the media establishment's already like effective infrastructure, if you will, about like fear mongering is the way that they've been getting votes for a long time. Yeah, people love Thanksgiving, and
really was just got them real good on the Thanksgiving one.
Yeah.
And a socialist named Hong might genuinely be a step too far for a lot of
That's
rural
true.
voters.
There's
What I'm
also
saying?
racism and misogyny involved in every single election.
And
that we can't
Red
ignore.
Scare. Yep.
Does it look like Hong can catch up? Yes, technically yes. So it's not over.
Every big drop that we've been seeing, she is gaining. Like there was just a big drop right there. Now we're almost at 50%, and she went up by like 0.4 or 0.5 percentage points. So that now they're within. There was another one right there. She just went up another 0. Oh no, I actually went down a little bit. Shout out Kelda. But
there's another one. Yeah.
That was like no change right there. But every single dump that's coming in, pretty consistently, Hong has been gaining at least a little bit. And so we still have over half the vote left. So we'll have to wait and see. But this, depending on how this goes, could be a big indictment on the way that Hong ran a race and how the establishment still does have a lot of control over media, especially when it comes to advertising and pulling votes that way. Yeah, she's not going to cancel Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's not even, how would that even be something that's possible?
I don't think you can do that. Yeah.
And so like, I think I that is my biggest frustration with like sort of that kind of race. I love being online. I love it. I understand it. I understand being online is great. At the same time, it's not the real world. And oftentimes I think people, the only time they interact with, a lot of people go to work and then they come home and they turn on the TV, and then whatever plays on the TV is what they see.
Yep.
And if it didn't play on the TV, then they didn't see it. And that's just is what it is. And I think that we have to meet people where they are. That's part of being in community, is meeting people where they are, right? And not like expecting that because your message is so great, that people are going to hear about you somehow. So if she does, lose, I don't think she's going to barely lose, right? Which I think is going to imply that there was something wrong with the campaign, not necessarily something wrong with the candidate.
Yeah,
agreed.
I agree. 100%. Someone said that Ilhan Omar is the projected winner for her race. I forgot that she was also.
I mean, I forgot too, because she's the queen. She can do whatever.
Yeah.
Come on, she's gonna waltz right through.
I'm very happy to see that, because we see it before with Cori Bush. Very similar to Ilhan Omar in her politics, and she got royally screwed by AIPAC and Wesley Bell. But it's great to see that for Ilhan, because she's the best. She's maybe, I think, like my favorite representative out there. She is. Yeah, she's consistent. She's awesome. She's badass. So that is really great to see Ilhan Omar continuing and winning in that race. But
excuse me, we got some water.
What were we just talking about? I don't even remember. Candidates.
Yeah, there you go.
Candidates. So glad to hear Omar won. Well, someone said I want Francisco Hong to be the next governor. Yeah, I mean, we're still waiting, right? Only like 50% of the vote is in. So there's still a lot of time left. We got Mike Lindell up.
Oh, no.
He's awesome. There we go. Omar had no chance of losing. I don't even know who she was running against. Like, I don't even know if there was a lot of money or opposition forces movement against her. I wasn't honestly really following her race that close, because I just assumed she was going to win.
Same. Exactly.
But Upper Wisconsin has strong racism towards Asian people. We'll have to wait and see. Like, that is a factor, obviously, in a lot of races. That is unfortunate, but we'll have to wait and see. Like, that was a big factor, and it is a big factor now will be in Michigan for Abdul Sayed going up against Mike Rogers. Like, the play from the Rogers camp has just been immediately be like, okay, let's crank up the racism dial. His name is Abdul. He loves terrorism. Like that's just immediately the second Abdul won, they released like these crazy campaign videos, and so they're just like leaning on the racism, which is always lovely, always a lovely sight.
Yeah, but totally expected. I mean, like some of the stuff is like
it's
not
tired.
shocking.
Yeah,
it's tired. Yes,
it's tired. It's completely tired. Only 3.2% in an Ilhan one. Okay, yeah. So that.
Nice.
I mean, scrap. Yeah, scrap. But yeah, like that is going to be. It's such a true factor that exists in so many of these races, and we'll have to wait and see with this race what happens with Francesca Hong. Another dump just came in there. We're at over 50% now. She's trailing by. Can I do a quick math? About 2 points. A little less than 2 points.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Yeah.
Just a hair less than 2 points.
Yeah, because David Crowley is overperforming in a lot of places that they didn't expect him to. So, and we saw that a little bit with Haley Stevens as well. She was overperforming in a lot of the big cities or not big cities, in a lot of the rural areas.
In the rural areas,
was supposed to overperform. Haley Stevens was overperforming, and now we're seeing the opposite of that.
Yep.
Where Crowley is overperforming in the big cities, where we expected Francesca Hong to see big numbers there, which is an interesting kind of thing that we're seeing. But again, we still got plenty of time. Only 50% of the vote in. Wish there was a way I could reach into the computer and scooch that line. Yeah, that's true. Just a little bit more. We'll see. We'll see. Polls were way off. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, people were very confident going into this race that Francesca Hong was going to win like easily. And yeah, there seems to be some definitely. I mean, obviously, just looking at the numbers right now, there was definitely something off with those polls, right? So yeah, we'll definitely have to wait and see. All I ever hear is the autopsy of the Democratic Party. Isn't it obvious that there must be a change of direction? I mean, I believe there should be a change of direction.
It's obvious to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're here, you believe that there should be a change in direction,
Exactly.
Because yeah, I mean, moving towards progressive politics, I think is popular and it will be beneficial. And as we were saying, who is this MF David Crowley? Yeah, a lot of people hadn't heard of him before. David Crowley is a more, centrist Democrat. I wouldn't say he's even like extremely, a conservative Democrat, but he's not a progressive. So we're, he's a Democrat. He's better than Tom Tiffany, who we talked about earlier. We're rooting for Francesca Hong here personally. We're Hong heads. Because she's DSA endorsed by her local Wisconsin chapter. She's a very progressive candidate. And then Crowley is a more, he's gotten some establishment money behind him, that kind of stuff. And so that's the major difference between the two candidates. Obviously, both of them are better than Tom Tiffany, who is the projected winner. Like immediately after polls closed, he was the projected winner. And he's a Republican who I'm sure is, I'll take Crowley over Tom Tiffany, right? Like it's that's what it has to come down to. But that is the main difference.
Yeah, I mean, if he's like a corpo dem, right? He's like pro AI and
yeah, I'm not super duper familiar with his policies. I know he's definitely like a more of a centrist, like Democrat. I don't know. I don't
understand. He's a bit like Gavin Newsom as far as his policies.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, well, as a person who lives in California,
okay.
I don't love Gavin Newsom. I don't love him.
Yeah,
I don't like Javier Becerra either, but he's gonna win. So
is what
it is.
Which is what it is. It's like the status quo is always sometimes it is gonna status quo.
Mm-hmm. And that's how it goes sometimes. But we'll have to wait and see.
There's still hope, or what are we at, like 1.7 points off? Like that's still close. We were at 3 points earlier, so there's still hope. We still have 50% of the vote coming in. Like, I think this is really, if anything, should be a wake-up call. I mean, you're starting to see, like I would hope that most of the standard Democrats, if you will, like the traditional Democrats would follow in line with, like, Hochul, right? Like, I think Hochul has found a good balance between, like, standing on what she's always said that she believed in and, like, also working with Mamdani to like actually push the policies that she might not have championed before, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I'm not saying she's betrayed her base if she even really has one. I'm just saying that like I think that there's a lot of her policies that are definitely more left than she would have been otherwise. And I think that realistically, even with a loss, if Hong unfortunately loses, knock on wood, then I think, we are way closer now. No? Am I crazy? My math off or? Oh yeah, no, my bad. But it just he just lowered past 40 down to 40%, and I got
Yeah,
excited.
he lowered. Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah. I was like, anyway,
Overhead
so
dries up.
we're getting close. I don't know. I'm feeling not too bad about it, but I think realistically, like the entire cycle is pushed so far to the left that there's no way they can be like, okay, guys, the way we win this time, go into the center. Like, there's no way. Like, clearly, that's not what people want.
Yeah.
And that's also what I think that we need to remember, with this momentum, regardless of who's winning, is that there's a growing voice that cannot be ignored that is
Mhm.
going to push some of these traditional, more, corporate Dems to have to reconcile some of these demands either way. So,
yeah. And we even see this like on debate stages, like if you throw a progressive up on a debate stage with like 3 moderates, the moderates are going to have to meet where the progressive is at, right? And they're
Yep.
going to have to like actually, Francisca Hong just got a boost there by 0.2 percentage points.
oh yeah, yeah.
Staying positive.
And so like every time this happens, like without fail, if there's progressive on the stage, everyone else on that stage has to at least scooch a little bit to the left on their policy.
Yeah, because if they're going
otherwise
on
they sound like a
about-
monster.
Totally. If they're going on about making people's lives fundamentally better, it's not going to go over so well when the moderate, then starts talking nonsense about, more aid to Israel. So
Yeah.
it's,
100%. And like realistically, it's like people are, when you get down to the base of these things, it's like if you're not offering anything different than the status quo, then you're not offering a solution to people's problems. There's a growing cost of living crisis that is true anywhere in this country. Rent is getting more expensive. We have a looming energy crisis while we're getting lapped by China and lapped by all these other countries, right? Like there is a genuine problem at the base of our society that is, if you're not offering a different way to organize our economic system so people have more of the share of the pie and our economy can actually produce healthy products without exploitation, then you're offering nothing that people are interested in realistically.
100%.
Yeah.
And so like I think that's the difference. Like, if Crowley wins, he's going to have a hell of a time convincing people that he's actually has their best interests at heart, right? I think a lot of the times when people aren't going to be happy when he says, oh well, here's AI, this company from, I said X, I was going to say like X AI company, like insert here X, but now fucking goddamn Elon Musk, XAI, yeah, fucking asshole.
With a letter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
literally like, that literally Elon Musk is be like, oh, here's an investment opportunity from some small town whose city council signed an NDA where they're going to take all the money, something behind the backroom deal and screw over their community, right? And they're going to pretend like the community wanted this the whole time. It's just like the same level of capitalist bullshit that got us here in the first place is not going to get us out.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, we can't just capitalist harder to make this thing work. Like
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Someone asked, is Penny Flanagan the good guy? Penny Flanagan is the candidate that we are
the preferred
more in
candidate.
favor of. Yes. Yes. So that is looking positive. That race is looking very positive. Whereas the Hong race is much closer. 100%. Yeah. America will become more socialist over time. True.
We're narrowing.
We are getting closer.
I know. Yet again, I see
1.2.
It looks like Kelda is taking some of the votes from Crowley, like in that drop at least.
Yes.
Hong didn't gain, but Kelda took some votes from.
That's what it's
Crowley
looking
there,
like. Yep.
Which will be interesting to see how that works out.
It might be another situation where they just split the vote again. The moderates split the vote.
Moderates accidentally screw themselves over.
Yeah, screw themselves over, which is so progressive of them to do.
Yeah.
It's so
Hey,
it is so progressive. Thanks, guys. You're
Thanks,
learning from the wrong people once again.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be crazy. another time progressives screw themselves over because someone has an ego that they need
too much pride to like settle down. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, like what politics has become for a lot of these people is not about, like, look at fucking Kristen Sinema, right? Like, so like, what a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And like,
I forgot about that.
And clearly she's like, and her whole like look at John Fetterman. Clearly their whole game into being in politics was just to get a recognition behind their name so that they can sell their services as consultants, right? Like there is an astronomical amount of money to be made paying people to tell them what to do when it comes to like writing policy or whatever the fuck.
Yep.
And so, or lobbying, like companies, private companies lobbying for politicians. And so a lot of these these times these people understand that there's no real incentive. You're only going to be in this job for what, 4 years, 2 years, however, whatever you're running for, and you can make more money for a longer period of time if you set yourself up in those 2 to 4 years to that you're like, hey, I'm really great in the private sector. You should hire
Yes.
me after.
Marjorie Taylor Greene is another one that comes to mind. Obviously, she's on the Republican side, but still, like, you know,
100%.
yep.
Yeah. No, yeah.
she's, you know, she's pretending that she got, you know, booed out, and that's why she's, you know, stepping down or whatever. But it's like, no, you just made a lot of money. You're good. You've got a certain persona now that you can sell
Yeah,
to people, and
exactly.
so there you go.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so much more money can be made in a year of lobbying and
100%.
advising than being an actual like representative, and you don't get as much scrutiny because you're not a public figure anymore.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's a pipeline for a lot of people. Someone mentioned in the chat, hi from Europe, and in any other country that the modern day Democrats would be a conservative party. And I mean, yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, so
it's
true.
crazy.
Like in this
Yeah.
country, even like
Right.
having universal healthcare is socialism, which is like the most guaranteed thing in the world. Like, oh, is that
Oh,
a gifted sub
that might be our first gifted sub, actually.
or
That's
gifted
awesome.
membership? That's
Yay.
crazy. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Paper
Geo.
Pants. That
It's awesome.
oh,
Huge.
Paper Pants received it. Oh,
Paper Pants
Geo
received the gift. Shout out Paper Pants from Geo Free O Free. Great, thank you.
Wow, dude,
Appreciate that.
socialism,
Huge.
ours. We
Shout
share.
out. Exactly. Perfect timing. Yes, exactly.
That's incredible.
Someone else just asked, while we wait, do you guys think MAGA 2.0 was necessary for the democratic socialist revolution and the displacement of centrist Democrats? I think that's a good question.
I think it was
And,
inevitable. I don't think necessary.
Inevitable, that's the word. Necessary, I
think it
think
supercharged
we
it.
both saved ourselves some pain, but inevitable,
Yeah.
I think, is correct.
Yeah,
I
it's
agree. I
just
think
one
that-
of those things.
Things were boiling up, and I think Trump almost made it inevitable, even like Trump 1.0, and like the failure of Biden to really actually like do much meaningful change. Like and also Biden promised a lot with his the Rebuild America, whatever the hell his bill was, that got like
Build
completely
Back Better.
shredded. Build Back Better was supposed to be like a modern day New Deal. And the original plan was like $4 or $5 trillion,
Yep.
$2 trillion in green energy, a
Mhm.
trillion in infrastructure, and then it got whittled down to like a 1 point whatever it was $1 trillion bill.
Yeah, it
which
got
is still a big
super
deal.
neutered, and then
But people saw what it could have been, and they were like, "Holy crap, that sounds awesome!" And that was still not even where we could be going. And so I think a lot of people were feeling that way. And Bernie Sanders, I think, got a lot of people on board with the socialist not being a dirty word like it had been for so many years. And I think, yeah, like you guys were saying, it was inevitable. But I think Trump 2.0 definitely kicked it into high gear and woke a lot of people up almost immediately to be like, "Whoa, oh my God, this is bad. This is really bad. What do we do?"
Yeah,
and then
exactly. When I have a bad day, I do have to always go and like look at MAGA regretting their vote. Like those clips just really, because inevitable, unfortunately, but completely igniting of what should have been happening before we even had to go through all this. And like you said, I mean, part of this was also the failure of the Biden administration not pushing hard enough. And then, of course, they didn't prosecute Trump like they should have. And there's all kinds of things that just, the ball was dropped. And so I knew, and then regardless of what anybody thinks about, Kamala Harris, like the way that they just initiated that as, her as our candidate without any say, even if she ended up being the candidate, just made it so that I knew that, Trump 2.0 was inevitable because of how that. So yeah, it was unfortunate, but inevitable.
Yeah, I think realistically, like when you look at like the motivating factors by which change happens, right? Depends if if you're a Marxist or something, you might believe a certain either class consciousness starts to form, which causes these changes to happen. But I think realistically, it's like I'm a materialist. Well, I think that like that people's material conditions are starting to deteriorate under capitalism to a point in which they're looking for any kind of populist solution. And if we remember the way that Trump ran his election, he ran, even if he's a liar, right? Like people are always like, well, but that's not true. It's like, I know it's not true. I know he's not actually a populist. I know he's not actually for the people. But that, if you remember, he ran on no new wars. He ran on cheap gas. He ran on like securing the border. lowering taxes, right? These are things that people like security and stuff like that. People want those things. So like
Yep.
the concept that like, it's not really a mystery as to why we got here, but the reason why we have Trump is the same reason why we have Mamdani, right? It's because like people want a new economic structure that actually serves the worker beyond the way that we have the way trickle down economics has set us up in the last 4 decades. And I think realistically, we have an opportunity and a obligation to, as the human beings who are alive right now, who have who are lucky enough to call ourselves Americans, that it's our jobs to make sure that the fascists don't take over that energy and fill that vacuum with right wing populism as opposed to left wing economic populism.
100%. Yeah, and you're right. It is about the material stuff. And so as we are seeing, because for a while, if you were comfortable enough, if the middle class was robust enough, then people kind of stop getting as academic or as desperate for a solution. They just don't care as much. But when you start taking everybody's crumbs away, then they're starting to be like, okay, well, wait, what is in it for me? What is in this system for me?
Yeah,
and
100%.
and that is, I was watching something recently about like the manufacturing of the middle class, because it has to be manufactured in capitalism, because capitalism's the vector of capitalism is eventually going to be fascism, oligarchy, etc. But if you manufacture a middle class and give people crumbs, then they don't care as much, that they don't have as much equity in whatever that they're doing, and they're more willing to sell their labor because they at least get something out of it. But you strip all of those little crumbs away from people, and they're gonna be like, well, what the heck what's in it for me?
100%. Yeah, it's like people don't, the relationship between their labor and the reward, the material benefit they get from that labor becomes so divorced from that they start to question whether or not the system that they have just blindly trusted actually has their best interests at heart. And like, I think oftentimes people assume, and Lex have had this conversation, like people assume people are going to go do a lot of reading once they but they're just going to get pissed off and pick up a pitchfork. Like that's generally what happens. And so the guy who's standing there waiting with the megaphone telling them to, like, I don't know, like invade the Capitol. Oh, huge drop for Hong just then. Let's go.
Yes.
Come on, Hong. I swear to God, if I ever meet a pollster in real life, I'm going to punch them straight in the face.
Yeah, dude.
Your job is a lie. You're a liar.
You've been stressing us out for years.
For years.
You give us
4 years. This looks great. I just saw like a poly market like switched super hard so that like Crowley was expected to win, and I hope that all those people who made that bet just feel stupid as fuck watching by the end of tonight.
Yeah, let's hope so. Let's hope so.
I saw somebody ask why is affordability not a slam dunk for the left? And I think realistically it's because we don't talk enough about economic issues on the left. I do think that is a problem, that like we don't have like our own Project 2025 in that way of like, here's just like an economist, a left-wing economist who has an idea that we can just like say, this is what we're going to follow, right? And I think that we all have a lot of like ideas and a general understanding of that we want a democratized economy, but I do think that we need a new ism in that way, where we need like a model that we can follow, that we can just say that like we can point to it and say like, this is what we're talking about.
It's so crazy because conservatives all the time will be like, oh, I like the Sweden models or whatever. Why can't we just, why can't these socialists want that, instead of communism or whatever they say? And then we say, okay, let's do the Sweden thing. And they say, no, that's communism. We can't do that.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. You were the one that suggested it as like a middle ground, and it sounds great. Let's try it out. Let's see how it works. Let's have some publicly owned, corporations. Let's have some, like actual ways to democratize our economy in ways that don't just give a bunch of money to the people at the very top. And let's see how it works. Let's have a public run healthcare that is paid for through taxation, and not a bunch of money that goes to middlemen and all of these people in corporations of healthcare corporations that just, take off the top. Right. Yep. Let's see how that goes.
Yeah, let's just do that. And you know what? Trump's already doing it. We have freedom gas or whatever the fuck. We own 10% in Intel or whatever the fuck. Like we already do it.
Trump does it, but also beef, corn, most
Corn-
like produce that,
milk. Remember,
milk.
got milk,
That- would you
government
think-
cheese, like
yeah, do you
all that
think,
shit.
Like corn isn't like 2 cents because corn costs 2 cents. It's subsidized.
Yeah, dude. Like libraries exist. Those are private products in a library, guys.
yeah.
Books are like private property, right? Like it's one of those things where it's so silly because people don't know what capitalism is, and that's really like part of our job, right? Like one of the reason why we're happy you guys are here and we're happy that we're like people are willing to have this conversation is because people genuinely don't know what socialism is, to the point where they think that capitalism means, you see, oh my gosh, I'm sure you saw this post of Hassan's house, and it's oh, look at his pool. He's not he's not a socialist because he has a pool. Like, what are you guys? What are you talking about?
Yeah, I hate those arguments.
Yeah, that's
and
yeah,
he's like publicly disclosed, and you can just find it on Zillow or whatever. Like he publicly disclosed how much he spent on that, but he's like, but this is LA, so like this.
Oh yeah, as like.
I'm like, that's actually cheap for LA.
I live in Los Angeles
and
like I rent, obviously. I can't afford that kind of stuff. But I rent. However, every house in Los Angeles, it does not matter where you are, is $1 million.
Of course.
I know, yeah.
The goal is for someone said the goal is for all of us to be rich. I want a pool too. Okay,
yes.
This is the richest house. This is the richest country in the history of the world, right? Yeah. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, all of those assholes have so much money that all of us can live very, very comfortable lives. Yes. And to the point where if that money was circulating in the economy, if it was moving at a velocity that was much faster than it is now and not stagnant in these investments and all of these funds, then those things would be cheaper, right? It'd be easier to produce.
A nice house.
Baseline would be a pool and shit. Like
wouldn't be like
you guys don't even like, not you guys, but the people saying those things don't even understand that they're the ones being robbed from the point where they see some guy with a pool that's like the size of like a regular room, right? Not even like a fucking Jeff Bezos pool. And like, oh my God, look at him. He's a champagne socialist.
Yeah.
Yo, it's DSA's whole thing is the roses because like we're supposed to have art too. We're supposed to have champagne and heart. That's the fruit of our labor. Right.
Exactly. No, it drives me absolutely bonkers that somehow, and to be fair, in some socialist circles that I had previously gone through, they also did kind of embrace that, like, don't get too lavish, but to me, it's like you said, I want everybody to be comfortable. I want them to have their luxuries. I don't want us all to be living in Spartan conditions. And like you just said, if there was more of us that could spend money in our economy, then, because it also drives me nuts when like Republicans and the right go on about how, oh, well, what if we do that? Then what's going to happen to all the mom and pop shops? What's going to happen to the entrepreneurial spirit? I'm like, you guys don't realize that entrepreneurs are not like, capitalism is not a fan of the mom and pop shop.
Yeah, they hate mom and pop shops.
Walmart
they hate new industry. They don't want that.
Walmart doesn't want there to be 10 little mercantiles in the village. They want there to be a Walmart.
Yeah.
So
that's fundamentally not capitalism. Entrepreneurship is not capitalism. It predates capitalism. Yep. Like innovation and like motivation and markets and like all and competition and all of these things that they pretend are only possible because of capitalism are not true. Those things can exist as a market socialism. You can exist in various forms of ownership, of collective ownership, private. Like someone said in the comments, there's a difference between private and personal property. And so in a lot of ways, when we're talking about is access to resources and the distribution of wealth when it comes to the surplus value that our labor produces. All of us understand that in a fundamental level when we talk about our boss making way more money than he actually deserves based from the work that they do, right?
Yeah, because nobody's out there earning $1 billion.
Exactly. $1 trillion.
Elon Musk is not 1 trillion times more hardworking than a person.
He can't even see his own children, let alone earn a fucking $1 trillion. Like, give me a break.
Exactly. And I always find it funny when people post pictures and they're like, "This is America under socialism," and it's like like houses dilapidated and trash bags on the street and something, and like that's a picture of America. And America's not socialist. That's just capitalism.
That's just capitalism.
That's a picture of, and then like, so what do you huh? Like you just
Yeah.
you're lying. Like it's
Yep.
just a lie. America under socialism, a picture of a street in America. That's just inherently not America under socialism because America's never been under socialism. It's never been under democratic socialism or social democrats like since
Yeah.
the 40s, right?
Yep.
Like FDR was the last president that was like actually like an economic progressive person.
Exactly.
It's been almost 100 years.
Right.
Like and
Right.
and those policies continued for a while, and then we had Reagan and Bush and Trump, and and then
It's like, dude, we wouldn't even be having this conversation if capitalism worked so well. We wouldn't be in this Zoom call right now talking to a bunch of people on a channel called U.S. Democratic Socialists, right? If crony capitalism wasn't just like the inevitable, like concentrated degree of capitalism that happens when you remove regulations, well, then if you guys could regulate yourselves, then we wouldn't be having this problem, right? Because
Yeah.
people would have resources and we wouldn't be even complaining about who technically owns the means of production because there would be enough resources distributed amongst the workers that we wouldn't care. But that's not what's happening. Clearly, when there's no level of checks and balances, if you will, between labor and the owning class, and you allow for an owner class to even exist at all, then they start doing weird shit on an island with Jeffrey Epstein, and the rest of us can't afford fucking eggs, right? Like we get to a point where the disparity gets
the
so
late
great.
Stage is crazy. The late stage.
Late stages are insane. So like
crazy.
the idea that it's capitalism that gives you all the nice things, it's like not true. Capitalism is very literally just where the surplus value goes, right? Where the extra value that your labor produces once everything is paid for, where that profit goes. If it goes to one owner, if it goes to an investor, if it goes to a stockholder, not you, not me, then not the worker or the community, then that's capitalism. That's it, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of
We're
the day,
closing in again, guys. We just had
Someone-
another. We're getting real.
oh, let's check it back.
Yep.
Someone was asking,
God,
is Peggy the good guy? Yes, Peggy.
Peggy is the good guy between the two. I believe Peggy is the progressive. Not a I mean, being a democratic socialist is rare and few and far between. I've seen some criticism too of like, oh, that's Abdul's not a socialist, and other people that we've supported are not socialists. But hey, like, it's all a transition, right, guys? We're all in the process, and it serves the mood. 0.4%. I'm getting geeked,
wow.
guys. This is
Yep.
getting close.
It is getting very close now. It's getting very close. Peggy's endorsed by Bernie. Okay, great. Yeah.
Okay, great. That's what I thought,
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
So yes, she's been in the lead since like polls have closed. So that race we're keeping an eye on it as well. But the Hong race is the one that's like not meeting expectations. So that's why we're kind of focusing more on that one at least. But
yeah, I
every
mean,
now
it
and then
looks
we
like
should,
Peggy's doing pretty good.
I know people are coming in and out and stuff like that, but Peggy is the progressive who is favored to win and is currently winning right now in the voting. So
only 15% of the Senate vote is in with Peggy though. So it is relatively early in that race.
It's early.
I'm not hoping that's going to close or anything, but it is interesting how many fewer votes are being counted in this race compared to
that's interesting.
the governor's race. But it is closing. 0.4% is very close.
Yeah.
Very, very close.
Yeah.
So America's built on slavery. Slavery's capitalism. Yeah, at its very core. Yeah, I think
true.
like true. Yeah, I mean, look at the way like our immigration policy maintains like a cheap labor force that we're all just like
the
closing
fact
our.
that like our prison system, private prisons, and prison
Still
labor
exists.
being
Like, we
actually
still have
slavery-
slaves,
Yeah,
right?
slavery is
Like-
a form of punishment. It's
Yep.
legal. It's legal to have slaves in the United States.
There's a reason why we have the most highly incarcerated, the largest
interesting.
highly incarcerated population by number and by per
Interesting how those
capita.
two things work out. That we have
Interesting, yeah.
that interesting.
It's almost
really-
like the prison abolitionist movement have a real like point
Have you guys
there.
seen 13th, the documentary?
Yeah. And then people always ask what radicalized you. I think it might have been the movie 13th. Like I was
Highly
really like,
recommend it.
damn, like that.
Highly
I saw it in college. I think I was like, damn, that
Yeah.
really. You're right.
Yeah, well, my parents are like woke scolds, like they're progressive folk, and we watched that. Like I watched that with my parents when I was like when it came out, and whenever that was, I was very young. So I was like, whoa, this is bad.
Yeah, really bad, man. Really bad.
This is really bad. Without really being able to fully understand everything, because I don't even remember when it came out, but I was young. So yeah, the 13th is really good. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, Sonny, it is sad to see like the people not understanding that it is the system that is really the cause of most of our issues, all of our economic issues. It's not, it's not minorities committing crimes, and it's not immigrants coming to this country. In fact, nothing but immigrants in this country unless you are a Native American. So
Yep.
True.
I don't really like that whole conversation, but it is one of those things where, you know, I'm Mexican and black, and I'm on the border. I live in Texas, born and raised. A lot of my Hispanic family is conservative, voted for Trump, and so it's one of
Yeah.
those things where, you know, race and ethnicity have nothing to do with in crowd out crowd dynamics, right?
Yep.
And a lot of
Yep.
times that's what determines xenophobia, not
Yeah.
you know, genetics. So realistically, I think that the solution, in a large part with like immigration, it's it should not be that hard to become an immigrant, right? Or become a citizen if you want to immigrate into America. Like,
Yep.
that's
Yeah.
the core of the problem, right? The reason why people are coming across the border anyway is because it takes like 10 years and thousands of dollars to be a
The
goddamn
difference,
citizen.
the difference between illegal and illegal is paperwork.
It's paperwork. So
Yeah,
let's
that's
figure out how to do paperwork faster and better, right? Like, I
Yeah.
think we need a little Zoran in the immigration system,
Yeah,
right? And I think
exactly.
that should
Yeah,
be
we
like
need
the
our
left
we need a
wing
con, but for immigration.
for
We should use
immigration.
it
Just
for
fucking fix it,
economics,
because like
you know?
realistically, we know economically that immigration is good for the economy. It's good
Net
for
benefit.
it's good
Yeah.
for it's a net benefit.
It's a benefit for the happiness meters, like population happiness, population economy, economic growth, and also like quality of life, and just like everything. It benefits almost every single major aspect of a country is having high rates of immigration.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. And it's one of those things where it's like, I understand people are afraid of change, but the system shouldn't be reactive to people's fears. It should be proactive to reality. And like, and time again, the waves of immigration to this country have been preceded by economic, like, and social booms of culture, of innovation, of technology. And it's really only when a culture of fear sets in that we close the doors and start kicking out and mistreating people.
Yeah.
100%.
100%.
And that's really why we need these candidates to push the envelope to the left, right? You made a good point earlier about how when any of our DSA candidates or any socialist candidates or any far progressive candidates are on the debate stage, they have to start actually talking about the issues because they're going to be forced to.
Yep. Then you because if you don't have that, then you just get this like Buttigieg like word salady platitude nonsense, and
Yeah.
that does capture the hearts of some people, but but when you really get into it and start actually dissecting it, it's like, well, that's just nonsense. There's nothing there.
It's a lot of empty words that sound really nice. I saw people just speak in LA. I went to this some speaking engagement thing I got invited to, and Pete Buttigieg was there, and it was a crowd full. I mean, there was probably 1,000 people there or so. People were loving Buttigieg. They're on the train. They're on the Buttigieg train, and obviously I'm in Southern California. So
oh no, sorry, big drop. Only 0.1% away now. We are
my God.
close, folks. We are 600 votes away, 500 votes away.
Crap. We've been seeing it all night long.
She's sneaking up. She's sneaking up, and I think she's gonna blow it away. This is crazy. If this happens in Texas with Tallarico, they're gonna fucking steal the election.
Oh my God. Yeah. I can't even the levels of cope. It's unheard of levels of cope will be
like
had if this
goosies.
happens. You can't even say that, Tony. You can't even say that.
Yeah, I don't
know. You can't even say that.
This is crazy. This is actually a nail biter. They just made politics more interesting. Whoever's writing the script on this one, good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
Good writing. But after last week, we could have made it a little bit of an easier one, guys. Come on, it's like 2 nail biters back to back, guys. Come on. Not even Breaking Bad would do that.
Yeah, I'm doing full copium over here. Lines of copium in the corner.
Yeah.
I think that go ahead, sorry.
I was just gonna say every Texas Republican come November if Tallarico wins.
Yeah, if Tallarico wins. I think that this is already sort of wake up call when it comes to candidates, right? Candidates. I think that maybe there's also something to be said about let's not get lulled into a false sense of like security.
Yes.
Let's always assume that we're 10 points behind.
100%.
Because we do hype ourselves up. Let's not lie. we like to like give each other our laurels.
And we're all in our echo chambers, like especially online, right? Like everyone has their echo chamber, people in MAGA have their echo chambers, progressives have theirs, and I think progressives are more immediately open to the understanding that obviously not everyone thinks like we do because we know
right
not everyone thinks like we do. So it's I think a little easier for progressives to have that kind of worldview and to immediately go to those places, but a lot of people don't, right? However, I think that it's just important to understand that in our echo chambers, there's a lot of people that disagree with us.
Yeah.
A lot of people that don't think the way we do. And the progressive movement at large is still relatively small, in comparison to the two major parties, obviously.
Yes.
It's like night and day, and yet we're still seeing successes like this, but we can't get a big head. We are the underdogs every single time we're on the ballot, every single time.
100%. And I think somebody's right. Like, how do we question ourselves and we ask ourselves, are we in an echo chamber? And I think that's what's the success about our movement. That's why we're a pro-science movement too, by the way, because it's like we actually question whether or not what we're doing is correct, and we make an adjustment based off whether or not it succeeds or not, right? Like, I think at the end of the day, if it is a people first movement, which it is, we have to accept, like, okay, like, that was a mistake. We don't want to be like, oh, well, we don't want to find ourselves in the Republican, where the Republicans are right now, where homeboy is falling asleep in the Oval Office and everyone's just pretending like he's not. Like,
fine.
Trump, that was such a good snore.
The water's American flag blue. The reflecting pool.
Yes, sir. It's American flag blue. Yes, Roger. So, I think
we don't want to be where the Democrats are either, where they say, "Oh, you just have to vote harder," and
absolutely,
and like blaming the voters for not voting for the candidate that they didn't want to vote for. Right? We can't be there either.
Yeah. I think we did already kind of see this lesson be learned when we look at Abu Ghazaleh. Her very online race. Everyone thought we had that in the bag, and we did not. And I think that realistically, there's something to be, said about that race. We thought it was just a one-off situation, but I think we're seeing the echo of that here.
Yes.
But to Kat's credit, she took that loss and she said, okay, well, how can I still benefit the progressive movement?
Serve the movement, 100%.
And she's created a movement. She's created an organization. She's working hard to get other progressives into power and keeping up the progressive movement and starting her own. Like, she's doing everything.
She's a rock star, right? Same thing with David Hogg, right? Like, you take the L, and you pivot off that L and to make something better off of it.
I mean, he's an even more interesting case because he was, pretty much in the bag for the corporate Democrats for a long time. Obviously he's been a gun rights advocate for forever, and he's had a pretty aggressive stance on that, understandably. But when it comes to like economic issues and everything, he hasn't really been outspoken about it for a while. He has a little bit here and there, and then he bucked the system, and then he got shafted, and now he's here saying, well, okay, if I'm not finding a home within the Democratic Party at large, there's a group of people out there that I agree with the worldview much more of, and it's the progressive movement. And here's David Hogg, actually working hard to make that a reality. So his journey is interesting, and he's a really interesting person in general. And there's a lot of respect for people who've had an opinion and have changed their mind and can admit when they're wrong.
Afro Man's asking how Mike Lindell is doing. The race is too close to call.
Yeah,
he's at 30. He's trailing by 14 points. It's gonna be a rough one. If darn Kendall Qualls wasn't in the race, then maybe.
Oh, dang Kendall. Because he has a shot against Amy Klobuchar.
Yeah, I think that money, getting money into politics is going to be the main thing. Looking back at this cycle in general, right? It's going to be the biggest force was just the raw amount of capital that is standing behind these establishment candidates.
Yes.
And how much of a community effort it takes to overcome that.
Yeah.
And it works in the opposite way. Like, look at Mike Lindell. He's a dumbass, like, conspiracy theory, like Alex Jones type character, and has still managed to squeezing out 350,000 votes and 30% of the vote for us to run for a Senate, right? This is governor.
Yeah, governor.
Even crazier. Like, this man is going to be the prime chief of the state is what the Republican Party is saying.
Yeah.
Right. Like, it's absolutely insane. And I think we've gotten so used to Trump just like normalizing putting cartoon characters in positions of power. But that's what happens when a republic starts to fall and they no longer prioritize infrastructure, and instead we prioritize entertainment. Right.
Yep.
Yeah, it's goof. I mean, it's like goofy. It's so goofy. And even people, on the Democratic side pushing for, like The Rock to run for president. It's like, what are we doing, guys? Come on.
Yeah, what are we doing, guys?
Come on. What are we doing here? The Rock's great. He's great. He can, continue acting, bro.
Yeah.
Continue doing your Moana sequel, live action, whatever the hell you're doing. Whatever. But yeah, I think you're right about money in politics and everything like that. And also, the money, where it goes and who is able to generate money and fundraise and for what and what their policy positions are is also a really interesting, I think, approach and thing to look at, because like obviously the biggest fundraisers right now are I think James Talarico and John Ossoff. But those aren't going to like the Democratic Party. Those are going to those two candidates.
Right.
Because those two candidates are in competitive states that people understand the need to win in, and they are liked. Right, like Ossoff obviously is a bit more of a centrist kind of figure, but he has some progressive policy positions, and I actually like John Ossoff, even though he's obviously not like a democratic socialist or anything.
No, but he's one of the better of the moderate types.
But he's a fundraising machine, right? And Georgia, and he has Georgia, like this apparatus in Georgia that is just so powerful that is like, inexcusable. And James Talarico is building this insane movement out in Texas, and he is more of a progressive figure than John Ossoff, at least in some of his policy, right? And that is nothing to scoff at. But those are the people, right? It's the individuals that are getting this energy and this money and this momentum, but not the Democratic Party at large, which is like now they don't have money. Right. I think the DSA has more money in their coffers than the Democratic Party does.
Yeah, they're like negative money.
Yeah, it's just like the DNC has no actual influence or control when it comes to finances. And yet they are, finger wagging and giving all of these reasons as to why being a centrist works.
Yep.
They're widening the gap for, unfortunately, on Hong. We're back to 0.6 of a difference. Still under 1%. Don't get worried.
Yeah.
We're still under 1%. We can still squeeze this one out. But I think that, like Talarico and like all of these other non-socialist candidates are really like functionally, when we looked at like a lot of time, it's like often important to think about like what's realistic. And a lot of times, right, like even if you had a socialist candidate or senator or in the House or whatever, oftentimes like in this position right now in the next cycle, there's only so much that they're going to be able to do anyway, that I think there's no fundamental difference between them and like a Talarico, realistically, a progressive and a socialist in a lot of ways. So as people outside of that getting that job, right, our goal should not be to get what we want right now immediately. It should be to ask and push people for what we want right now immediately, so that they get as close as they can, and then the next cycle we do it again, and we do it again, and we do it again. And the end result of that demanding of like constant attention towards the goal of getting a free and fair economy is one of those things that will come from us, not from any one politician who's going to give it to us, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And, either way, if you're a progressive or a socialist or even left of whatever the status quo is, you're going to be labeled a communist either way.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%. So why are you afraid of it? Yeah.
Yeah. They called Hillary Clinton a communist. Like,
yeah. Like, okay.
Kamala Harris, who was like,
it's lost all meaning. It's lost all meaning.
Yeah, it's lost completely all meaning.
Because Donald Trump, when El Sayed was running against Haley Stevens, he was like, well, it's between a socialist and a communist. And, I can't even think about it. And it's like, okay, Haley Stevens is not a socialist, and Admiral Al-Sayed is not a communist. He's not even a socialist, right?
He's not even a socialist.
Capitalist. He's just progressive, and that is too far for so many for people. But those words have just like lost all meaning. They don't have the punch that they think they do, because this isn't McCarthyism anymore. This isn't the Red Scare. This isn't the 50s and 60s. Like it just doesn't work. Because people have a better understanding of a democratic socialist means someone who's pro keeping money here at home, not sending it to Israel, fixing our potholes and making our public transportation better. And that sounds good to a lot of people.
Yeah, 100%. Penny Flanagan is enjoying a 8-point lead with 24%
Got a Peggy.
of expected. So let's go, Peggy.
Kenny.
Let's go, Kenny. I don't know why Kenny. I was reading Kurt, and then I just like mixed it with Peggy. Yeah, I don't know why people are talking in the chat about how Crowley dropped out. He dropped back in like a skateboarder. He was out for I think like 10 days, and then came back in after Barnes dropped out, right? Like because Barnes had something was going to come out that he wanted to get ahead of. So it's crazy that people are still like, yeah, okay, Barnes, like they're like, or not Browns, Crowley's like switch over to him, even though he's clearly not up for the fight. My man like already dropped out. That's insane. That's literally actually insane. But I think that this is, again, like this is the power of fear of voting, a culture of fear that we've developed in our politics generally. It's like they don't give a shit who it is as long as it's not the socialists, because they believe the the propaganda straight up. Like they'll switch over to anybody who the establishment is telling them is going to keep the status quo alive, because they've either are part of the capitalist class, the owning class, and their wealth is tied up in these policies, or they're not and they think they're a part of that class.
Yes.
Which there's a lot more of those people than you think.
Yep.
100%. Yeah, people in the chat saying Hung would have run away with it if Crowley didn't drop back in. That's probably true.
Yeah.
It's probably true. Yeah.
So who knows the backrooms conversations that were had where they said, well, Crowley, you got to go back in, or whatever. We don't know, right? We don't know the specifics of it, but clearly there's some influence at play here that does not want Francisco Hung to win.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of that has to do with just maintaining status quo, keeping the influence, and also the current governor endorsed Crowley. So it's a messy situation where they don't want the progressive to buck the system because they like the way things are right now with corporations being able to funnel in money to keep people in power. So like, as Tony was talking about earlier, they can keep their job because they see it as a job to keep.
It is a job. Yeah.
It is. Yep.
And that is the most important thing to them, is maintaining their influence and power and control versus, not being a millionaire in Congress, but getting the job done, and that's the difference between a lot of these people.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, I think it's going to be close enough. Let's knowing that Hong is going to pull through, because I know it in the depths of my heart. It will be like, there's no way it's not going to be a difference that, if Sarah Rodriguez and Mandela Barnes went on the ticket, or vice versa with Crowley, when the vote going to one of them, that this is a moderate split. That is pointing to the complete lack of strategy, the complete lack of counter to the the grassroots, down on the ground, community-led politics that Hong is creating. It is something that you can't buy, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now
100%.
imagine if we did also had the money to buy ads,
Exactly.
and ads. That's what gets me. Why?
Yeah,
¿Por qué no
exactly.
los dos?
Yes. We
You
can
think
have
this
the
budget
best
will
of
help?
all worlds, guys.
Best of
Yeah.
all worlds. I want to make shitty little ads for you. I'll do it, and then
Yeah,
you convince.
exactly.
I'll convince the boomers and rural whatever the fuck that Hong is the best.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jesus, I don't get it. But you know what? There's plenty of time. There's plenty of candidates. Hong came out of nowhere. That's the awesome part about our movement too. I fucking love that she's a restaurateur who had credit card debt and was oh, I struggle with mental health and I didn't want to do, and I was in college. That's awesome. I think you should be more people like that in office, because those people understand what it's like to be like that, like the rest of us, right?
Yep.
I don't want some asshole in a suit who's rich who thinks oh, because he's rich, he's gonna make me rich through a government that has a fundamental belief that they should not be making you rich, right? The government has never once been oh, let's make workers rich, right?
Yep.
So
I agree. I think I've always thought it was interesting that, especially on the right, they'll attack candidates that, do mention that they were, AOC, I was a bartender, I'm a regular person, but to regular people, at least from my perspective, it's oh, you're relatable. So you're going to know exactly what it takes to, barely afford your life, and therefore then do things to make my life better.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the House in general, and Congress in general, is supposed to be representative of the people, right? And yet
Yes.
the average income, their average, net worth of a representative is by far higher than what the average American is making. So that's just one instance of it. But yeah, we've seen that a lot of progressives. It's interesting how if you have an ordinary job, a day job, and you're in Congress, you're probably have progressive politics. And if you came from a well-off family, went to Harvard or Yale or Cornell, or whatever, you are either you're conservative or a mainstream Democrat. But if you've had to actually work in food service or in whatever it may be,
Yep.
you're a progressive for some reason. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then if you're that and you have a pool, then they get real mad at you, right?
You can't do that.
That's the perception is so ingrained into our culture that if you're not broke, then you can't be a socialist, right? If you're not, it's so poverty cult, which is crazy, right? And I really think people need to understand that once that's broken, I think that's when the dam is really going to flood. When people realize that oh wait, socialism means more money in my pocket.
Yeah.
Like they're always asking how we're going to pay for it, right? How are we going to pay for universal health care? Universal health care is cheaper than health insurance. It's
Yep.
cheaper. So we'll pay for it the same way when you pay your paycheck, like you'll pay more in taxes but less in insurance, and you'll have more in your paycheck will be higher, right? So
People are just
what-
so scared of hearing that. They're like, wait, more in Texas? What? What
right,
did you say?
but so don't lead with the more in taxes, lead with
Yeah,
the more in your paycheck, right?
Yes. Yes, more in your paycheck, and you're not going to go bankrupt by, a surprise medical bill.
medical
or,
debt.
God forbid you, get pregnant and want to have a child without insurance. There's things that people don't even realize they have to factor into their, overall economics. And so just don't, and the taxes for most of us are going to be so negligible that it, like, the net benefit is there.
100%. 100%. And it's also one of those things where it's like, I want my like neighbor who I don't know's kids to go to college because like it's good that when they go to college and become doctors, like what if I break my fucking leg when I'm 80 and they're the ones who, you know what I'm saying? Like that's how life works. We live in an interconnected society in which all of us
teachers, having good teachers who are passionate about the job, teaching your kids, so they have better education or whatever it may be. And it's always
we should want that.
It's always the people who make, $30,000 a year living in like a trailer who are like, I love Elon Musk and I love Donald Trump. And it's like, they don't like you at all. And your position would be better if you didn't like them. And yet they're speaking to, whatever part of you that this selfish part of you or this part of you that likes, division and cancel culture and oh my God, I'm forgetting the word for like
DEI?
hating like trans people and black people and like whatever, not like racism, but like oh my God,
discrimination.
Yeah, whatever it may be.
Bigotry.
Culture war.
Culture war. You got there. You got there.
War. I got it. Got there. It's
Oh, the American. We got another member. Everybody, thanks. The American 7408. Thanks for joining the team. They asked, do you know if all the cities have counted their ballots yet? Let's double check. No, it looked like there was about 20%. Well, Dane County, which has Madison, has about 8% outstanding, and I believe Milwaukee is about 12% outstanding.
Yeah.
So they've counted a lot, but there's still a little bit left.
There's a little bit left, which is all we need to close that 0.5% gap between and Crowley, which is crazy. This is really
crazy. I can't believe this.
Yeah, this is an odd timeline that we find ourselves in.
Ugh. So insane, so gnarly. How close this is ending up being, but we just need to win. That's all it made. It just takes one.
Yeah, it just takes one. And I think, we already have so many wins that I think that, oh my gosh, she's down to.
I was going to say, like, point.
Oh, no, she's
what,
0.1.
4? Like,
she's 0.1 now. Yeah, just a point off, a tenth of a percentage. I'm literally like screaming. Okay, that's cool. That's fine. We already won so much this cycle. Like, I'm so excited for the House to getting session next year. It's going to be incredible to have an actual socialist bloc.
Yeah, there's there's going to be like 9 like DSA candidate
which is going to pull so many progressives
politicians or something
into towards that bloc anyway, even if they're not outwardly socialist, even if they believe, because I think here's the truth is too, like the truth of the matter, and the Marxists are going to fucking hate me, but I think that realistically, like there is not functionally that much of a difference between a lot of like social democrat policies when it comes down to like heavily regulating capitalism to the point where like, capitalists can't like concentrate wealth and all the kind of stuff, that realistically the policies look damn near identical to the point where it would be really great to just get that if that's close as what we get. So I think realistically just having because like AOC gets pulled towards the center, right? Like being like her and Rashida and I guess Bernie, although I don't think Bernie is actually DSA. I'm not sure. Anyway, those three I think are the only outwardly socialist members of the House, and I think that like realistically they kind of are floating around a little bit, right? Like when it comes to another socialist supporter.
Thank you.
Yay.
No vitriol here.
No vitriol here. I love it.
Yeah.
I love the name. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you.
So I'm excited. I think even if we don't get this governorship, which we will.
We will.
This is incredible. This is incredible.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like engage. You all should. Somebody asked earlier, like, what is our? We're not officially associated with the DSA. We're also Democratic Socialists, but they are a political organization. We are a media company. They're different, but the things that we do align with are on on politics. So, like, if
Yep,
you guys
Democratic
should
socialism,
go check out your own Democratic Socialist chapters, if you haven't already, check out your local your city council, your state representatives. You might find that there's more people running with your politics
Yeah.
that you never heard of.
Yeah, and I say,
Frio,
oh my God,
free.
Gio,
Oh my
Let's
God.
thank you
go.
so
Oh
much.
my gosh. Gifting a membership and then becoming one yourself.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Yeah, I think we've been seeing a lot
Oh
of.
yeah, we got another one.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Oh,
Are you joking?
no vitriol here.
No.
What the
Are
hell?
you kidding me?
Wow.
Yay.
What?
Wow,
I'm
wow.
like, what? I'm sweating. That's crazy. That's
Wow,
insane.
Holy crap. We got a lot of members.
Holy
now.
shit. Oh my
Holy
God.
crap.
That's crazy. A huge 50 gifted. That's insane.
That's insane.
Thank you, no
Thank
vitriol.
you
Everyone,
so
thank
much.
you, no vitriol in the chat, guys. That's
Wow.
huge.
Thanks
Wow.
a big W to vitriol. No
Mwah.
vitriol. No vitriol.
Yeah, no vitriol here.
No vitriol here.
Wow, I couldn't. I just saw the
Nothing
we,
but
we
love.
can see like the thing pop up, and I saw 50. I went, what?
It's like, what does that mean? Oh my
What
God.
does that mean?
Wow, yeah, hearts, fire
That's
emoji. Yeah,
crazy.
guys,
Fire
wow.
emoji. Wow. That is a lot.
In need of that gift, so well, we'll see.
Well, hey.
Wow, thank you, Novitro. Really appreciate that. Yeah, go Hong with that energy.
Go
let's say
Hong.
Hong.
Let's
Come on,
go. Now we're
Yeah,
definitely
come
going to
on. Now
win,
she
guys.
can't- now
That's
she can't lose.
crazy.
As she cannot lose, right?
Yeah,
that's how it goes.
exactly. With that kind of energy.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Welcome
Appreciate
all
you,
our new
Novitro.
members. It's raining memberships. That's right.
Yes, it's raining.
yeah.
members.
Are you
Wow.
Zoran Mamdani in secret?
Yeah, it's
this is
smart.
a
Zoran, we
secret-
need more members.
a secret benefactor, socialist benefactor. Thank you.
Wow.
Um,
Wow.
Yeah, we're at 0.3%. Oh man, it's close.
We keep ebbing and flowing. You know what I
No.
mean? It keeps getting closer and then back away and then closer and back away.
Oh man, it is so tight right now. This is crazy. It is so crazy. But now, yeah, 0.3. We were at 2 points earlier tonight. Now we're at 0.3. It's getting closer. I'm still like in disbelief. About
Yeah,
that.
me too. Vitriol, no vitriol here. Wow. Big thank you. Big thank you in the chat. Big W.
Wow. We got to come back next week for Oliver Larkin.
Yes,
Yep.
there will be more. All of our new members, we're expecting you next week. We'll be doing the same thing with Oliver
Roughly
Larkin.
the same time, Oliver Larkin. Whatever other races are happening, Oliver Larkin's I think the big one that we've been focusing on. But if there's more, we got to check them out.
Exactly.
So definitely
thanks,
something
guys.
to think about for next week. Next Tuesday will be Oliver Larkin.
And thanks for all the support on the videos and the channel, guys. You guys have been like, we wouldn't be here without you. So we wouldn't be here without you. So, you guys are all awesome. Members or not, gifted or not, just watching, just being here is enough.
Yes.
Yeah, it's super awesome. It is super awesome. Because we really did our first stream last week with the Abdul Sayed race, and now here we are back again, and just to have so much love, so many people pulling up, without us even like announcing we were going to be doing this. It's just kind of
Yeah, I really
wow.
appreciate you guys clicking.
At least for that one, we had a video that came out, and it was mentioned that we were doing a stream. And this one, we were just like, well, it's Francesca Hong. We gotta
Yeah, we gotta
Yeah,
be
that's her
here.
girl. That's my
Gotta be here.
girl.
So just to have like basically just as many, if not more people, to have more members, to have amazing people like this join the community, it's absolutely amazing to have you guys here. So yeah, definitely tune in next week for Oliver Larkin, and whoever else it may be,
Yeah.
because I'm sure that there'll be more to watch as well.
Well,
Because
just
he's
a
like
little bit
DSA
again.
movement.
Just a little.
No, Mike Lindell has not moved, by the way, guys.
Oh.
He's not closing the gap.
Um,
Penny Flanagan is now still enjoying her. What are we looking at? An 11-point lead.
So she's grown.
Oh, yeah, an 11-point
Oh,
lead.
hell
I think she
yeah.
had 9% before with
W, that's
31%.
W.
So she's looking very comfortable, and we'd love to see that.
Yeah. Oh man.
Still too close to Tall. We got a 0.2 lead for
Yep.
Crowley. Ooh, I'm sweating. I'm like genuinely sweating. We're not cooked yet. We're not cooked yet,
we're
Cheese
not
Lord.
cooked yet.
We're not cooked late. We are cooking. It is getting the frog is boiling in the pot, but it's not.
Yeah.
This is really like, I think it's really interesting, and I'm super curious. I bet I don't think there's like a live watch party for Francesca Hong's team yet right now, right? But they must be freaking
On
out.
pins
Oh,
and
dude.
needles.
I have no
Yeah.
clue. Both of them are probably freaking out. Crowley's team is probably like, oh my God, she's gaining on us every single drop, like by a little bit.
Yes.
And then they jump a little bit more, and then jump a little bit more, and then jump a little more. And
Oh,
Hong for the entire night, I'm sure, has been like, oh my God, we need to get these numbers up. And they have been going up, but then it's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough. She hasn't been in the lead at all
no,
tonight.
at
No.
all.
Which is again opposite of what we saw last week with Abdul. He was in the lead the entire night, but just barely.
We
And
might be
it-
seeing like an NBA
know.
Finals situation in which like the
Yeah.
Spurs just like blew that lead by at the very last second. They just like came in and won.
Yep,
We
we'll
might see that. We might see Hong like come
that.
through and just barely squeak through.
Yeah, I believe. Damn it, I believe too.
I believe. I believe.
Yeah, but imagine how much money they spent for Crowley to be neck and neck with her. That's true,
I
right?
know, and that's true
lot
for
of money
Abdul
spent on
too.
these
That is true for these races. Like this is an ungodly amount of money that they're spending on these races to defeat these nobody, no name, unelectable candidates, right?
Yep.
Like, oh sure, if we were so unelectable, you wouldn't have dropped like millions and millions and millions
Yep.
in a primary.
Yeah, this is an off year Democratic primary. This is
It's
a
like
midterm
insane.
primary cycle, and they're getting more money in these than ever before because there's actually an insurgency that people are looking towards, that are energized by, that are excited about, and the establishment is terrified.
They're terrified.
Yes.
Right? That's why like the biggest names in politics right now are not even elected officials, not yet. They are literally running, and they're bigger names than most politicians are right now because
Exactly.
they are actually speaking to people's concerns. And that's why figures like Abdul Sayed, who was again a candidate in a primary on an off-cycle year, is a national figure.
100%. 100%.
That's unheard of.
And
Unheard
Samantha Universe in the chat is saying we need to target more non-voters, and I think that's like exactly what's happening too, right? Like Hong
Yes.
is
Oh
Hong
yeah.
is surprising how many non-voters are coming out and voting for the
Yeah.
either they haven't voted in a long time or they're the first time voters.
Mhm.
Yes.
A lot of young people who just don't vote are going out and voting for Democratic Socialists and
Yes.
progressive candidates because they don't feel energized by the two-party political system. They feel black-pilled, nihilistic about the whole thing, whatever it may be. That they do find some community and solace in these progressive figures, and so they go out to vote. Or there's people who don't vote, who are Gen X or millennials or whoever, just who are kind of tuned out of the whole thing. They want someone to speak to their concerns who isn't Donald Trump, because a lot of people don't like Trump. But Trump was also able to turn out a lot of low propensity voters for that same reason of energizing a base. But of course, his messaging is, a Trojan horse of,
Oh, whoa, we got our first tie, guys. We have our first tie.
Oh my God.
40.1%. Technically, there's a few hundred points for Crowley, few hundred votes for Crowley, but this is as close as we've been.
Holy crap.
Oh my God.
This is crazy.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness.
And even if she takes the lead, of course, it's not done.
Exactly. It's not
Oh
done
my
until
God.
it's done.
It's not even done.
Oh my God.
man. Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. Oh man.
God. This is crazy, guys. This is crazy. Establishment Dems usually go to Republicans and ignore non-voters. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, establishment Democrats are they want the Democrats, right? They don't want, they're not even looking for like low propensity voters. They don't think they need them. Whereas the DSA, we do need them, right?
No,
Like,
we do. And I think
is the
that's like,
voting
it's
base.
one of those weird things where they have this belief that for some reason, voters who vote Republican because they're likely to vote are somehow more likely to cross over and vote for Democrats, as if like just switching to the other one is easier than getting off the couch and going to the vote, which is like so silly because like crossover votes are like always like 2 or 3% or something stupid.
doesn't
Like
happen.
it's
The
it
biggest thing
never
is-
happens.
The biggest thing is people who don't vote, who are maybe registered one way or the other, but just never vote, or independents. That's it, right? Those are the
That's it,
people that
yeah.
actually play elections, are the people who do not vote, young people, or just people, low propensity voters and independent voters. In some elections are very important, and in others they are completely useless, right? Like it just depends on where you are. But
Living retirement, let's go, says Gen X over here, and I voted for Hong. Awesome.
Hell
That's what we love
yeah.
to see.
nice, hell yeah, people power all the way. Oh my God, yeah. It is so close right now. This is crazy. The Orange Menace has lost a good portion of his voters. That is true. There's a lot of people who have become disillusioned with Donald Trump. However, they're still probably going to vote Republican, right? That I don't think a lot of like MAGA Trumpers are going to be like, well, now I'm going to go vote for the Democrats because the Democrats are worse than Donald Trump.
Exactly.
However, they either or they won't vote, right? Or they're just like, I only was in this for Trump, or I, don't want to vote for the Democrats. However, we did see this in 2016 and in 2020 a little bit, with people being both Bernie and Trump supporters.
Yes, we
That
saw
is a much bigger. That is a big
10%.
faction,
I think
Yeah.
10% of crossover from Trump to Mamdani.
and
Yes,
that's not surprising.
I saw that too. Yeah. Yep.
It's really not. I think people hear that, who aren't as tuned into politics, all the time, and they hear that and they go, "What the hell? That makes no sense." And I think it does make sense, actually.
Yeah, I do too. There was actually a big crossover with Abdul as well.
Mhm.
So not as big as Mamdani, but still more than you'd imagine.
It makes sense, right? Because a lot of MAGA voters are just struggling financially, and they want support in that, and they're looking for anyone who is willing to speak to their concerns and not bullshit them, right? Because I think a lot of people, especially in the age of the internet, can smell bullshit from a mile away.
Yes.
And both mainstream Republicans and mainstream Democrats, especially mainstream Democrats, are big bullshitters, right? They just they have their every word they say has been like rehearsed, and people hate that. And Bernie didn't give people that. Abdul didn't give people that. Mamdani doesn't give people that. And Trump definitely didn't give people that. And so that's why, they voted the way they did.
And meanwhile, on the Republican side of things, Lindsey Graham's sister is advancing to the runoff, winning 107%, 107,000 votes, 32%, nearly 33% of the vote for the Republicans, because
That's crazy.
They quite literally want to live in an aristocracy in which your name matters more than anything else.
So that whole thing, and also her changing her last name to Graham a few months back.
In order to do this.
Yeah.
Literally to
So
do
that she would have
this.
the name recognition
Fishy,
because people would see
man,
Graham.
It
and
is
they would
so
go, "Oh,
fucking shady. Like,
Weird.
what is this? What
it
is
is
this?
so weird." Yeah, no. Diabolical. Like, actually diabolical.
And I can't even, I mean, I can believe there's 100,000 people in South Carolina who would do this, who would vote for her just because she's Lindsey Graham's sister. But it's like, I mean, I can't even imagine why she would be qualified, other than the fact that her and Lindsay used to share dresses when they were little or something. Like, I don't get.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that is one of the weirdest. I mean, obviously, she changed her name. Because I believe she's married, or was married, and had her maiden name is Graham, obviously, and she changed it back to Graham because she wanted the name recognition. So weird.
What are her policies? Whatever they tell her they are. Whatever the establishment Republicans
she's
tell
trying
her
to be
her
Lindsey Graham
policies are.
again, right? Like she's trying to make a
just
name for
Lindsey Graham
herself,
again.
and capitalizing off of her brother's death, and getting into position of power because her brother died in office.
And I'm almost positive she's had no public service experience, right?
She's going to be Lindsey Graham again, right? One of the most war hawkish pieces of shit senators we have ever had. Like, Lindsey Graham was especially like a terrible politician, honestly.
Yes, he's one of the worst.
Like, and she's just gonna,
she's never held elected office. She's literally appointed because her.
Yes.
Like, so it's insane.
It's whatever the staffers. I'm sure a lot of his staffers are the same. Whoever worked for Lindsey Graham and his advisors and whatever, they're probably the same people.
Yeah.
And so they just got another Graham to do it. Yeah, it's very weird.
They went Graham for Graham.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've seen this before in politics, like with the Bushes,
Of course, and we saw it with the Kennedys, right?
It's like Kennedys, and we'll see what happens down the line with future politicians and their children and all this kind
of stuff. And the
Mamdanis,
the lovely Mamdanis who will rule this country for 100 years.
Mamdanistan.
Yes, exactly.
Like people like wanted Michelle Obama to run and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's silly. Like it goes to the Grok thing,
she's
right?
An adult. Michelle Obama was like, I don't want to do that. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Hell no. But Lindsey Graham's sister is an opportunist who saw an opportunity to get a lot of power, get a lot of money, and maybe in some way she wanted to uphold the principles of her war hawkish, monstrous, racist brother, and carry the flame. Who knows?
Yeah, complete dynasty. Yeah, there's like Mexican does apply to senators. I think it's like it's tradition, right? For like the wife of a senator who dies in office to like she takes his position until the end of something. I think some old thing that we used to do that apparently is what the reason why they were able to replace Lindsey Graham's sister with Lindsey Graham. Did you guys not know that? Yeah, it's like
I just figured that they were doing some underhanded shit. And...
No, it's like a part of a tradition, next of kin bullshit. But like generally, like it's one, it's old as shit. We shouldn't be doing it anymore. And two, generally they don't continue to go on and be
then
use
run
that
again, right? They just finish
that
up the run.
time as some sort of
Right.
experience that now they can be fucking senators.
Right. But Lindsey Graham wasn't ever married, correct?
No.
No.
No. He was married to the game.
Yes.
Mhm.
He's married to the
Yeah.
game. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting figure. That guy. Interesting figure, that guy.
Hong,
And,
unfortunately, still has dropped the lead is dropped back down to 0.1.
Yeah.
Up, I guess, to
they can't keep
0.1.
getting away with it, man. This is crazy.
The distance about 500 votes. 600 votes.
Hey, this tells you every vote, especially in
Every
primaries and especially on
vote
a local level, goddamn matters.
Yeah.
This is a gubernatorial primary. This is like for a statewide office, and it's within 500 goddamn votes.
Yeah.
That is
Right.
absurd. Obviously, like just saying like, oh, vote is like the least influential, most influential thing you can do in politics. However, it is super goddamn important, especially in primaries, especially in local races like this.
Yes.
Holy crap.
Especially when
insane.
these primaries are dictating how we are going to be able to move
Yeah.
the left either way. So,
Right.
even if she doesn't win, this is important to still deliver that message.
100%.
Yeah, strike some fear into the hearts of the establishment.
Oh man.
100%.
I still believe.
I still believe too.
Still believed. Never doubted for a second.
Yeah, we just need a huge dump. There's still what? There's still
Huge dumps.
172,000 outstanding votes. So plenty of room to take a lead and extend it. So what we're seeing is that the velocity of votes coming, were heavy for Crowley in the beginning, and then Hong is slowly starting to pick up momentum. We can hope that the momentum continues.
Yep. Yeah, this is so. Oh my god, yeah, so crazy. This whole night, I'd like just going from entering tonight with the pollsters, which again, we need to have a serious conversation about pollsters, man.
Yes, we do.
They clearly got this one wrong. Either way, a win's a win, right? Hopefully, Francesca Hong can pull it out, but we were expecting not this. I'll say that.
What do you think that is? I mean, somebody in the comments in the chat said earlier that like people don't answer their phone anymore, and that's I don't know the
Yeah.
methodology by which
Pollsters
I
go
don't know the
about, like,
methodology, but yeah, it depends and it changes.
I
But at the
don't
same
know.
time, that might be it.
It's
Yeah.
very weird because usually we see it the other way. This is the first year, obviously, we've seen this is the first year we've seen Democratic Socialists overperform and underperform where we think they're going to go. So it's kind of hard to apply that like on a political level. I think it is just people aren't as involved or as interested in answering polls. And yeah, people don't pick up the phone. Young people don't pick up the phone ever.
Certainly. Yeah.
No, I don't answer the phone.
Which underestimates like people under 45, people under 50 never pick up the phone, and even people over that age who are somewhat tech savvy also don't pick up the phone, and they don't answer the door if it's a person they don't know that's not Amazon delivering a package or whatever.
Right.
It's just not. It's just become, I think, harder for pollsters to do their job correctly,
Yes.
but in a race like this, yeah, I have no clue, because you would think Francesca Hong would underperform because young people aren't answering the pollster. So she should do better because young people would vote for her, but it's actually the opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's opposite. I think it's largely people. I guess it's like rural people or conservative people or people who are more trusting of
True.
the establishment who are gonna keep their mouths shut when it's maybe not as.
It's true. Yeah, we saw it with Trump. A lot of people who voted for Trump didn't answer the polls because they didn't care. They didn't want to.
They didn't want to stand on that.
They also did. Yep.
Yeah,
They
they didn't
wanna
want to stand on
admit
it.
They're like, we
Admit
did it
it.
in secret.
That was more definitely in 2016 for sure. They didn't want to admit it, but by 2024, I mean, people are.
Yeah, they were
people are
pretty loud and proud by
pretty loud and
2024.
proud by 2024. Yeah, that was and then 2020. I mean, COVID made that the most complicated and insane thing ever. So,
Yeah. True.
Someone's asking, should we do online TV ads instead of cheaper? The more online ads because they're cheaper than TV. Yeah, I mean it depends. I know a lot of a lot of people watch YouTube now. It is TV. So and I do that, and I have political ads coming up on my YouTube channel or on the YouTube ads. So I'm assuming yes. It really would become a numbers game. I would imagine every individual campaign is going to have to look at, in their area, does a target demographic do they
Watch
view
TV
television?
more,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. And I think that generally, like we've talked about a little bit, there's an apprehension from the left to engage in these establishment organizations and media that have historically been very anti socialism in general, just because they're owned by hyper capitalists who have worked overtime, right? And but I do think that there is going to have to be a bit of a, you got to bite your tongue and sort of
We're back to basically tied, y'all.
oofa.
Yep.
Like, I am stressed.
It is so close. Yeah, it really depends on where you are, what base you're trying to advertise to, what strategy, what things you want to say, who you're trying to appeal to. It's like,
Yeah.
obviously,
Yeah,
it's
like where's the gap in
Yeah.
your, like, are you trying to appeal to more young people because that's where
Right.
you'd see the
you're
biggest growth?
losing,
Or
or like, where are you not as strong? Should you advertise
Yep.
there? Should you just go to your base? What's the deal? Like, obviously, it's complicated. It's hard, right? Like,
Yeah.
running a campaign is hard. And I think that, especially when it comes to Democratic Socialists too, we're like, most people running are new at this, right? They're not career politicians, and they're not, and also we don't really have like decades of strategy behind us, right? And decades of like a voter base that kind of know what's up.
Yep.
So it's a very different atmosphere and different environment that Democratic Socialists are trying to enter into, while also trying to parse this field of Tony was kind of talking about, not wanting to do the traditional media thing, but also kind of understanding the importance of it, but also understanding online. It's a weird, wacky world that Democratic Socialists haven't existed in for long. And
Totally.
so we're kind
I
of
think
like
that is why we're
infant,
seeing under and overperforming, is because we're all just kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall and just
seeing what sticks.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because
You're
truly,
right.
you're right. We don't have a breadth of a history of things that we can look back on that work. So we're all just like, let's just try this thing, and some of it's really working, and some of it obviously is a bit of a nail biter. So.
100%. And I think a lot of people, like someone said in the chat, that like people just vote for who the Democratic Party tells them to. I think that is also true. I think there's a debate within the DSA right now about whether or not the DSA should give voter recommendations that are not endorsements, because they feel like, that you don't want to blur the line between the two things. But that being said, a lot of people are not looking. I'm a huge proponent of the path of least resistance, right? I don't think that people really want to dive
They
deep
don't want
into
to
all
go through the voter guide and go to every website and see if every single person,
and then
it's like,
debate.
holy crap. I think
don't
Our
wanna do that.
Revolution was a good one this year, or I don't want to get the name
Our
wrong.
Revolution is,
They were pretty good at basically endorsing almost every single like progressive candidate, whether they were DSA or not. But it would be nice to have a national platform like the DSA to kind of just have like a quick guide,
a down ballot for
that. I get their argument of like, we don't want to confuse the two, but I think you can not. I think there's a difference, right?
Yeah.
And I think people will understand the difference, because a lot of people will just go to the DNC or whatever
the Democratic Party's
and
list,
they'll vote blue no matter who, right? And obviously, when it comes to a general, it's easier. You vote for the D or you vote for the R if you're a Democrat or you're a Republican, for the most part. But when it comes to especially primaries and down ballot things where it's so complicated, or if it's like for a judge thing and there's no party affiliation, people aren't going to spend hours and hours out of their day to figure out who,
we might be
supports
nerdy,
abortion
but
rights
not
or
everybody is spending all day every day looking into this kind of stuff.
100%.
So.
Yeah, literally 100%. So it's like it is incumbent upon like an organization like the DSA, or us as a media company, to like sort of show people like there are opportunities to vote for people who actually align with you closer than what you're used to. Now that those candidates are fully supported by an organization like the DSA, where they can actually canvass and like get in front of people's doors, right? Because that is the one. It's funny because we're like, oh, we're having this conversation about whether should we embrace the traditional establishment media environment, in which, when we know that embracing the traditional physical community environment is what's brought us the success. So it's not necessarily one of those things where we have to reinvent the wheel at every opportunity. It's just that we have to understand what works and lean into it. And I think a lot of it is also just like, encouraging people to talk to their families, encouraging people to get into their own communities and have those tough conversations, and get in the room with people who no amount of calling, no amount of door knocking will ever get you in front of that person, because all they do is watch TV and go to work. Right. So like maybe that person's, niece can talk to them and convince them, you know what I'm saying?
And I think that's crucial for like voting blocks who are traditionally either very low propensity voters or very strong Democratic Party voters, or whether like whatever it may be. Like I think like the Hispanic population in Texas flip-flopped for Trump and then back, and now they're hating him again, right?
Yep.
And the, like Puerto Rican population is a kind of conservative because of Christianity and Catholicism. But again, if you're in these communities that don't turn out for progressive candidates but align with a lot of the ideals, it's hard to break that shell, break out of that mold that you've been voting in for 30, 40, 50 years, whatever it may
Right.
be, right? Unless there is, and like no ad is going to convince you otherwise. You're just going to be like, I don't care.
Very true. Very true.
So I think that there's a lot to say about that as well. Yeah, I think it comes back to, we talked about this like I feel like hours ago at this point, but community organizing, like on your very local small scale level, is like so crucial.
Yeah,
Agreed.
dude, talk to your neighbors, like talk to your family, talk to people around you, touch some grass
Yeah.
in a non like aggressive way. Like
Yeah.
genuinely, it's a great thing to do to really get out there and realize what people's problems are. Because like again, maybe it's just because I grew up in like I'm in a conservative state and I'm aware of what it means to be in a conservative state. But a lot of people's problems are not so different than our own. You know what I mean? And oftentimes like. The perception of somebody is often more negative and aggressive and different than like the reality of that person.
Yep.
And that works in both ways, right? It's really easy for Fox News to like fearmonger around trans people or immigrants if they've never talked to a person who's
Nope.
pro-trans or an
Yeah.
immigrant, right? Like,
And I mean, yeah, those cultural war lines are so stupid in the first place because, and I think more people are realizing it, but it still obviously has some sway where it's like, is a trans person making your rent higher?
no,
Exactly.
Is your Guatemalan neighbor making
there's like
making your
10
bus
trans
run late?
athletes like in the nation.
Like, it's
who are
such
in,
a-
like who
such a-
cares, dude?
Such
Yes.
a crock of shit, and it's just like
Totally.
it's so again, it's tired, and I think some people are realizing it, but a lot of people still hang on to those culture war narratives and believe them because they turn on Fox News and that's all they hear, and it seems like the biggest problem in the world
Yeah,
that
but
there's a
meanwhile,
black
it's
pilot,
not-
and it's
Exactly.
like,
It's not the immigrant that's taken away your Medicaid. It's the literal people in office right now. Like
Right.
they're not stealing any, well, they're not getting any Medicaid or public assistance
Yeah.
on that level, but still they have this in their their rhetoric, their propaganda. And so then when you realize, well, not only are they not the ones stealing it, it's who's in office.
mhm.
Who's an off? Yeah, and who are they get? And who are their donors? Right? Like what?
Yes.
Who are they protecting?
Yeah.
All right, we
100%.
slipped a little bit, but we're
I know
still
we're back at point
Okay.
2, like close to
Yeah.
1,000 vote difference,
Speaking
900
of
vote
slipped a little bit,
difference.
how's Mike Lindell doing?
Yeah.
Mike Lindell
Let's check back in on that.
is at 12%, still too close to call, which I think
right.
is hilarious. So I guess
Lindell
somebody
had
still
rise
thinks he
up.
has a chance.
Yeah.
But
We're going to
so
be the most confusing voting block in the history of the planet. We're going to be Mallory McMorrow heads, Mike Lindell heads, and who's
and so
next?
fuck it. Who's the guy who's running against Andy Mansky? Where Andy Mansky has.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Hey.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's us. The most confusing voting block in the history of the planet. average non involved American voter.
Right.
Peggy's still enjoying a nice lead. I think it's about 11-point lead.
Hell yeah.
That one's also still too early to call, and we're at almost 36%.
36%. Yeah.
So that's interesting.
We're starting to slow down a little bit when it comes to the drops.
Yeah, what the
I'm
heck,
curious,
guys?
Yeah.
I'm curious what's going on, if it's going to be one of those things where the last
The last bit
section
takes
that's
forever.
grouped from takes forever. Trying to see some more up-to-date info from some people on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Looks like there's a big drop for Hong in. Oh, I've always wondered how to say this. Eau Claire?
Oh yeah. Eau Claire probably.
Eau Claire?
Yeah,
EAU?
because
Eau
eau
Claire?
like as an ode to whatever is like the French for like scents and
Mm.
stuff. So yeah, maybe
Oh,
eau.
those French.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently Hong got a big drop there.
Nice.
People are thinking, this analyst is thinking, Zachary Domini from the head of data science, that Hong is likely to take the lead at some point tonight. But if she can keep it, we'll see.
Dang it! I didn't want to end another stream with us not knowing.
I know.
I was like,
I
well,
know.
I was like, we're gonna end at 10, and here comes 10, and there goes 10, and still,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Oh gosh.
It's a stressful one.
We're
It's a stressful one.
basically tied again. Oh my god.
Oh
this
wow,
is-
really? Oh
Oh,
shoot.
really?
Okay. All right.
Yeah, Jesus, we're at like what 600-point difference,
Yep.
700-point difference. My God,
That's
that's
crazy.
so clear. Okay. Mansky hurts. There was I went to
Mansky
school
hurts.
at Texas State, and there was something called a Mansky roll. It's a massive, like a cinnamon roll. It's like this big.
Oh,
And LBJ went to the same college as me, and he used to
Oh.
order Mansky rolls to the White House.
oh,
Nice.
nice.
So I'm
Nice.
starting to see that. I wonder if Andy Mansky knows that.
I'm not saying we're ending right now. Someone said no, don't go. I'm not saying we're ending right now. But
No.
if it goes on for much, much longer, then we're gonna
Yeah,
have
we'll
to-
see. I'll keep an eye on like what people are saying, if it's gonna like be a huge. If we're gonna find out, if we're not gonna likely find out by tonight, then we'll probably end the stream at some point.
Yeah.
But it's still looking like we could see that flip happening. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
let's check the county of Eau Claire. Where is Eau Claire?
It's like sort of middle, and then west.
Oh, there it is. 91% in. Oh yeah, she's leading by a lot. It's great.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Okay. And this is rough. This is rough.
Yeah.
I
I
do
know.
not want. I
We're
don't
just-
want to be.
Stressing. It's just stressful. Yeah, I saw someone just being like, "This is so close. It's not even funny. It's just stressful now."
Yeah. Exactly.
And,
Yeah.
It's
I
usually
feel
not
like-
so bad. Like I feel like it's you kind of have a general sense. What
Yeah.
was that joke that Obama used to win these elections so early you could hit the club afterwards?
Dude, I
Yeah, right.
know.
Like
Obama
damn,
was- Yeah, Obama was winning elections. People go out and party, dude.
like a
Like, come
party,
on.
like damn.
Yeah. Not today.
See, does
There'll be
Andy have
one.
the same?
There'll be one.
Let's see. How's Peggy doing? Still the same. 36 is now in. She's still at 11-point
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah, totally.
That's good. That's good. At least there's always we can go back and say, at least that one's
Yeah,
that
exactly.
one's, not doing too bad. I'm surprised it hasn't been called, but I guess there's still a lot of votes to count on that one. But
I suppose, but I guess I don't know what sections are outstanding. I'd be surprised if she was able to close that lead.
yeah. But we'll have to see. Someone said I call this a win either way. That is, I mean, very a good way to think about it for sure.
It's a
It's
great way
very
to think about
true.
it, yeah.
If we didn't have, I think the narrative will be unfortunate for progressives if Hong doesn't end up winning because people were so confident she was going to.
Yeah.
So either way, if she wins, they're gonna say, "Oh, it was much closer than the progressives thought." Does this mean that
Yes.
the progressive movement's actually bullshit? And it's like, okay, shut up. You won, doesn't matter. And it's like, of course, we're not even having those conversations yet, but the very fact that, like, in a vacuum, the very fact that Hong was this successful is a huge win, right? Obviously.
Agreed.
But because of how the pollsters were spinning this to be such a pro Hong, like, easy victory, if she loses, it just gives fuel and ammunition to bad actors out there to get their messaging across. That's all it really is.
Yeah, and I
Yep.
think there is something to be said about like the false confidence lulling, maybe being pushed by, let's say, bad actors in the media sphere to try to like push a
Suppress
little bit of
vote,
voter
yeah.
a little bit of
Mhm.
voter suppression here and there,
Yeah.
right? There's always these tactics that are used to like can lead people falsely, right? Like that was their first that was their argument against I think El Sayed, right? That like Rogers endorsed him or whatever.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so like, they'll lie and say that like you're doing great or you're doing poorly or they're what I mean, in order to lead people astray mentally, and might maybe have convinced people that our lead was bigger than it actually is.
Exactly.
That's
Yep.
I mean, people are asking like, what is that? What do we do with like polling? I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure. Like, I'm not a pollster. I'm not sure if polling is now something we need to add just another pinch of salt to, if it's something that we need to balance more with another kind of data, like aggregation. There's like, I think there's a lot of times like sentiment is difficult to like poll in general, right? Like we're saying, this certain kind of person wants to answer a poll. So that already kind of like selection bias there, right?
Definitely. I'm looking here at I'm sure Steve Kornacki's having a lovely night. Again, another longer night than he was expecting, I'm sure.
Oh, I
Yeah.
bet.
Crap, not again.
Not again.
Because yeah, this is a tight race, regardless of what happens. But you know, we'll see. The establishment loves to build us up and then bring us down if they can get away with it. I mean, true. That's true. There's been people saying we're cooked all night. You know, there was people saying we're cooked 2 hours ago, and because Hong has been down the entire night.
She was
hasn't
down by
gotten
like
yet.
5 or 6 points at the beginning. She's literally
Yeah.
this has been a night of like slowly crawling. Look, we just became statistically tied again. Look at that.
Yes.
It's slowly crawling your way back and over the hill. Like this is a rope-a-dope moment for her.
Yeah.
I think she just pulled ahead.
Oh no, did she? Oh my
Yes.
God, she did. Holy shit, I didn't even notice. I didn't even fucking notice.
Guys,
Oh my God.
She just
Guys,
Oh
pulled
my
ahead.
God.
guys,
See,
Hell
who said that
yeah.
we're cooked? Who said you're banned? You're banned.
Everyone said.
That's crazy. Okay, keep that lead, baby. Let's go.
Okay,
crap,
that gives me
holy crap.
renewed
Yeah.
vigor.
Like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get
Yeah.
I gotta get
Holy
some
crap.
sody pop or something. I need to like.
Yeah, this is crazy. That is
That's crazy.
Insane.
It's crazy. This is like super close. I mean, wow.
yeah. I believe same about time. Yes. Oh my god. Let's go, Hong. Let's go. Yeah. Hell
200,
yeah,
let's
people. Hell yeah.
go.
The chat is
Guys, over
stepping up.
200.
Going
over
to have
200.
a soda.
Yeah, gonna have a sody. I
Gonna
need
have a
one,
sody
dude.
pop. She's in the lead. I need more rum.
Yeah. So I'm saying sody so we keep monetization.
Right. Yeah, I'm just reading what's in the chat, guys. Come on.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Drinking coffee. Oh my god, yeah, this is crazy.
Oh my
That is close.
God.
Oh my god. Oh yeah. People are getting
This is crazy.
rightfully
Okay,
excited.
Come on,
Rightfully excited.
let's
Yes.
go.
This
And
is the first time that she's been in the lead all night.
All night.
It's just-
She has been trailing all night long, and now here we are. Finally, after hours of this slow climb, Hong is now finally in the lead.
I would pay
Yeah.
so much for a camera inside of Crowley's like
I
camp's
know.
room right now.
Yeah.
I want to
To
see
be
what
a
they're
fly
doing.
on the wall.
It's
Yeah, they
almost
were-
worse. Like it's almost like people are like, oh, I'd really like to be Crowley right now. I'd almost not want to be Crowley because it's scarier to have somebody losing your lead
Who's,
than
like,
it is.
looking like
right?
gaining on you all night. Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's
so
terrifying. She's just
terrifying.
like Hong standing in the background, just
I
like
think
just like
100%,
falling behind her.
because looking back to last week with Abdul, way more stressful to have like Haley Stevens slowly like
Oh my God, inching up.
falling
Yeah,
back and forth versus
100%.
being the underdog gaining the entire night. It's different. It's a
Yes.
different vibe for sure. Very strange. Oh, someone's saying being DDoS so hard right now. I can
Oh
barely watch
really?
it.
Dude, sorry, I don't know. The
That's weird.
stream. What's it called? The health is excellent, so I'm not sure if that's on us. We need more Hong, more. Yes. Who said it? I think it was Hassan, right? Who said by the time we're done, Mamdani is gonna look like, you know, unremarkable. Like I think Hong is a great example. I genuinely think that she's going to hit the ground running the same way Mamdani did, and you're gonna be like, holy shit, governors can do that.
Mhm.
Like, wait, what a minute. Like, what
Yeah.
the fuck has my governor been doing? I thought that it's just sort of a ceremonial role. You know what I mean?
Yep, I think that's 100% true. I think it's 100% true because this has been the line, and there's a great Mamdani clip about this that he had months ago, where it's basically, you know, people said that democratic socialism could only work in Brooklyn, and then they said
Yeah.
it could only work in New York City, and then they said it could only work in New York State, and then they said it could only work in blue states, and then they said it could only work in swing states. So
swing
it's
state,
just
yeah.
like it's pushing the goalposts further and further and further to the point where this can work anywhere. And that has been the conversation for the past few months is democratic socialist insurgency. How successful can it really be in places that aren't big blue cities, right? And we already just saw that last week with Michigan, statewide race, Abdul won, right? And now we're seeing it here in Wisconsin. Again, things can change, but Francesca Hong just pulled ahead in the lead in a actual, like, this is Wisconsin, right?
Yeah,
Swing state.
bona fide swing state. Yep.
We just got a projected winner. Peggy Flanagan has won her primary and defeated Angie Craig to become the Democratic Senate
W's in the chat.
candidate. Let's go. Hope and change is
Wow.
real.
What a vibe shift we've had in the past
Hope,
5 minutes.
I
Here,
just
huh?
in the last 5 minutes, we were like,
I
oh,
know, like,
are we going to end the stream? Oh, no. And then all of a sudden, oh, wow. That's incredible. Let's go. Becky, she's got the cool shoe. She's got the cool outfits, too. That's what we need, more swag. Swaggy
Yeah.
Flanagan.
Yeah, we do need more swag. That's true.
That's why they hate AOC, because she has style.
exactly.
Except for, what's her face? Laura Ingraham. Have you guys been seeing the Laura Ingraham being like, AOC, her
Strangely,
raven
like,
hair?
yeah,
and
strangely
She's
into
horny as
AOC.
hell,
she's so
actually.
attractive.
I'm like,
Yeah.
your hate for all these candidates and all these politicians is strangely pretty
Earrings.
thirsty.
Yeah. Yeah, her vibrant red lipstick and her jet
Yeah.
black hair. She's
Exactly.
really intelligent. It's like,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or she
Alright.
called
Well, and-
called Abdullah Dreamboat. I'm like,
yeah, okay, yeah. What? Okay.
I mean,
Sure.
I get it. Our
And
candidates
listen,
are
hey,
beautiful.
AOC as of today is single.
Hey, there you go.
there
guys
you
hear
go.
about that?
There you
You
go,
hear
Laura.
that?
I did not hear about
Laura
that.
Did
Ingram
not
You
either.
have a chance,
Finally.
Laura.
Yeah. Get in
She-
there.
announced a split from her partner. I saw that earlier.
There
today.
you go, dude. See? Like, I feel like there's always a better world, Laura. You just join,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Join the Democratic Socialists.
join the
of America.
Democratic
Yeah.
Socialists. We love
Yeah,
class
yeah.
traders in this household.
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen someone just posted tonight about the Francesca Hong race. It's so over. We're so back. It's so over. We're
It's so
back.
over. We're
Yeah,
so
I
back.
know,
Is
exactly.
like the exact discourse that we've been having. all
Snip,
night long.
snap, snip, snap, dude.
Yeah.
What the
Yep.
hell? We're like a 300 vote lead right now, a little under that. Like, it is insane.
Yeah, actually insane. Oh
My
man.
wife, handsome brown man. Yeah, El Sayed's not kind of jacked. He is jacked.
Oh dude,
Yeah.
no, he's crazy. Like he can lift so
he can
much.
lift.
He is a gym bro, like through and through, which is that a very interesting like archetype of a person, like a progressive gym bro. It's
Love
like,
it. That's why
you know,
Hassan is so popular, right? Like,
Exactly.
it's very easy to
Exactly.
cut through the noise of like, oh, you're just a weeb.
Yeah. It's like, nope, actually, not true. It's very funny.
Yeah, I mean, meanwhile, their alpha male heroes are getting arrested for trafficking in Miami and shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Or the people, or like Ben Shapiro who preaches, like masculinity and stuff. When you're Ben Shapiro,
you're Ben Shapiro, dude.
like,
Like,
do
what are you
know
talking
who
about?
are?
Like, do you remember Steven Crowder's like the footage that came out of his house of him yelling
Yeah.
at his pregnant wife?
Yeah.
Like, you guys
Yeah.
are not
Yeah,
men.
not a real man.
You're not fucking men. You're not
No.
like you're not even adults. You're
Well,
children.
they might be fucking men, but that's
Yeah, yeah. Hold on, shit.
That's true. That's true.
All right, my bad. Yeah, you're right.
But
Like, I think it's realistically one of those things where it's like I am so excited for Abdul to get in there and be like, you guys are fucking cowards. You're not adult. Like, I want democratic socialism to be viewed as the adult in the room, finally,
Agreed.
because it is. I'm sick and tired of it. Like, look at Mamdani. They called him like he's a cutie patootie. Yes, of course. Does he wear a suit all the time? Right? Yeah. Is he young? Yes, of course. He gets shit done, dude.
Yep.
He gets shit done. He's the actual adult in the room, getting the potholes fixed, getting events planned, getting all kinds of permitting done. It's
Yep.
insane what he's willing to do and able to do when you just get money out of politics and you actually serve the people, right?
100%. 100%. We are adult in the room. Yeah, we are 100%. Like the policy positions, the level of like respect for other people, the
The self scrutiny, like we were talking about before.
self-scrutiny, the pragmatism of it all. Like, yeah, there's no BS. There's
There's
no
no
like
comparison. Yeah,
there's no
absolutely.
child's play.
Yeah,
A little small dump right there. Just maintain the lead. Huge.
Peggy is taking it. Like, look at it. I guess it was a huge drop because it jumped to 80%. For Peggy as far as the votes that are in, and she is up she's up 100,000 views.
Okay,
votes,
yeah.
so
All right.
she's
Shout
like-
out Peggy.
yeah,
W.
shout out Peggy winning by 20 fucking points. I think the pollsters might have flipped the names Peggy and Francesca or something because
Right. That makes
she's
more
winning
sense.
by the margins that they
they
said
were
that she
saying
was going to win.
Francesca.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Very
Oh
interesting.
no, David just took the lead back.
Yeah, I was gonna
y'all.
say no.
No,
Bro.
no, we can't be
my
having
God.
this.
It's so over.
It's so over.
It's
She's
over.
it's so back.
It's so over. We're so back. Oh crap.
Oh, here we go.
Oh please.
Do you think corporate media will ever stop talking about Hassan? No.
Not
Maybe.
anytime soon.
Well, not anytime soon. We did stop
Definitely not
talking about
this-
Joe Rogan, right? Let me
definitely not
eventually
this
stop talking
cycle.
about that.
I think, I think that it'll ebb and flow after the elections are over. I mean, they won't talk about him nearly as much.
Agreed.
But until November, oh yeah, it's going to be a main target of attack for Mike Rogers against Abdul Al-Sayed because Abdul had the gall to work with Hassan Piker.
Yes, he's on like the top 3 of the most like what they're going to tackle at the RNC. So
no, yeah, like they're going to keep talking about him, but these figures like this ebb and flow, right? Like Joe Rogan, I feel like was a bit like he was constantly talked about, you know, a few years back in the election cycle when, like in 2024, when he had Trump on and all this kind of stuff. People were like, Joe Rogan, who's the Joe Rogan of the left, all this kind of stuff. And then we have one, and they don't like him. So so I think Hassan will be in the news at least until the midterms are over, and then it'll die off a little bit, and then and then when it comes around to 2028, I think they'll spark it back up because I think they see something there, because he is a face of this progressive movement, at least when it comes to like the online part of it, and he's said a lot of controversial stuff that people, without context or without understanding his worldview, take as a very vitriolic way, and so they think it's a good attack strategy, at least to maintain fear in their conservative base. I don't know. So no,
Yeah,
we're gonna keep hearing about it.
Yep, if they can frame him in bad faith, which is easy to do because he is kind of inflammatory. But again, like you said, if you don't have context and they've got bad faith, then it's an easy target.
Yeah. Oh man, so we're back. Okay, back
All
within
right, yeah.
0.1 percentage point. We've been within 0.2 percentage points for like
500
an
votes
hour.
again.
Crazy.
Yes, the 3 districts left to vote counting. Bernie won in 2016 by more than he won the state as a whole. Let's hope that stays true.
Yeah.
Please. Oh man, yeah. There are
me
4
see.
districts left to start counting. Holy
we
crap.
don't have Buffalo yet, which I figured right is also, I think she campaigned pretty heavily in Buffalo. So assuming we have some leeway here when it comes to the votes that are left to count, it's not a complete shot in the face here looking at these leftover districts. Especially with how close this lead is, dude. It's insane.
Yeah, someone just said it ain't over till it's over. 100%. Right? 110%. It ain't over till it's over. Someone said Green Lake, Villas, Buffalo, and Pierce. Is there a margin that triggers an automatic runoff? No, I don't believe so.
I don't think so, no.
I believe this is just a winner takes it. But it's close.
I'm just like 600 votes. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, again, every vote counts. It's crazy. Mail-in completed yet? I don't even. Mail-in might be done because I think they can pre-count mail-in in Wisconsin. But I think how it works is like certain districts haven't even started counting. Like there's districts that aren't even like they haven't even like dropped their numbers yet. So that will also include mail-in. Yeah, someone mentioned a recount. With a close enough race, there could definitely be a recount.
Yeah, they
which
could challenge it.
hopefully not. But there could be a recount, but there's no runoff. Yeah, they're right.
Bonnie, yes, Penny Flanagan did win. She
Woohoo!
won by 20 points.
Yeah, she crushed. Which is interesting how people are willing to vote for Penny Flanagan, who's a more progressive figure, but then not obviously different state
politics, but yeah, it's one of those things. It's not uphill battle either way. I mean, we saw what happened in that one Republican race. I think I'm talking about the one that like Trump had endorsed.
Oh yes, that one. Yeah,
that guy, and then they
lost
ended up.
because his name was too scary for people.
Yeah, it's
That
like it's
was
one of those that also
crazy.
kind of applies to a lot of these centrists and moderates who are
Yep.
just a little bit afraid.
That was
of,
nuts.
I
Well, yeah, the
mean-
guy wasn't even running. The guy had dropped out, and he won.
Yeah, and
Yep.
so did Crowley, right? Like, I
Yeah.
mean, it's one of
Yep.
those things where it's like, Jesus Christ, like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, absolutely nuts.
She's down by about 1,000 votes now, guys.
Yeah, why did polls show her so far ahead? That's a conversation we've like having all night. It's a very interesting thing. It's just pollsters are like they're not getting it right, especially with progressives, young people in general. Donald Trump, like after Donald Trump, like polling has never been that accurate, and it's
True.
I think pollsters are like kind of panicking these days and like trying to just get the jump on it, and especially with like prediction markets too, like confusing people and thinking things are more likely than they are to happen because those are just predictions. They're just vibes based. It has nothing to actually do with actually proper polling. So like someone with a lot of money could just sway the vibe of an election, so it's very, very strange stuff. Yeah, polls are a grift. Yeah, it's been hard ever since Trump, really, to get anything right. And we're seeing that here.
Yeah, we're seeing it here, and we're also seeing the funkiness of just like the scattered ways in which elections are run, right? Like we never know like based on different strategies of if it's an open primary, if it's a closed primary. Because I know, like, I was just thinking about Oliver Larkin next week. Because somebody asked when is Florida 20th, and I believe that's also next week with the 25th. And they have a closed primary system, right? So that requires a lot of like earlier polling, campaigning early, just to make sure people are actually registered as Democrats, and that's a whole fucking thing. And whereas, I don't believe Wisconsin has an open primary, or Michigan definitely did. So that it changes the game, right? And I think that polling in general has to contend with. I think it's a technology thing. I genuinely think that just like people are not like answering the phone. They're not going to answer a random survey. Like it's just not going to happen. And the people who are willing to do those things are probably going to be people who are really passionate. And so, the primary's open. Yeah. So like we never really know. There's always a little bit of funkiness happening.
Yeah, someone rooting for Larkin. Yeah, Larkin's going to be an interesting one too. We're looking forward to that one. Because like again, obviously polling is crazy right now, but there was like a statistical tie in the polling between him and Moskowitz, which is like absurd to even think about. But should be exciting stuff coming next Tuesday. Someone mentioning the Luke guy. I don't know about the Luke guy in Connecticut. We can look into it, but I do
Luke
not
Bronin,
know.
I believe.
I'm not sure if he's a progressive or not.
I believe he's a progressive. I believe he's definitely not a socialist, but I'm pretty sure he's progressive, like Medicare for all. I looked into him like literally yesterday, I think.
Oh, okay. Hong slipped a little bit more. Ooh.
Yep.
Yeah, abolishing ICE, affordable childcare, protecting LGBT rights.
Yeah.
Right. Nice. Cool.
It looks
cool.
cool. It looks like Buffalo is starting to. Oh, we have 3 of the 4 counties bringing in, except for Pierce, that had been withholding votes, are starting to come in. 19% from Buffalo, with Crowley in the lead.
All right.
That's likely why that margin widened just now.
Okay, yeah.
1,500. So we can imagine there's going to be a similar pattern, just like from that one county, where it's going to be. Maybe counties probably count the same, right? Or do you think it's on a county level?
I think
like
it's
as far
county.
Is it county? Then we have no idea.
I'm not sure. It might be different. Again, every single state is so different. That's what makes
it's hard.
So goddamn annoying.
That's why Kornacki's so goddamn good.
I mean, yeah, he's like one of those guys that just knows. He can like look at a county and be like, "Oh, in this county they do this here." It's like, how do you know that? What the hell? But yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, that could be. Yeah, that's so early in the numbers here, so we'll have to wait and see. But oh my god. It's so over. We're so back has been the exact antithesis of this entire stream.
Yeah, we're so over. It's so back. It's over.
It's crazy. Lindell lost? Wait, do we have an update on that?
No, Mike. Now he has to go back to Lindell TV.
Dude. No way, dude.
Come on.
This is the worst loss that's going to happen tonight. Right? Right, guys?
Lindell.
Yes.
Man.
I
I love his InfoWars style show. Look at him.
Look at him.
God, he's the worst.
Truly.
Oh, he's the worst. You don't know who Mike
Crying in
Lindell
my
is, Bonnie?
pillow.
Yeah, you look. Yeah, crying in my pillow. He sells MAGA's favorite pillow brand.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess we can close Peggy down. Congratulations, Peggy.
Yes.
Okay, so we're likely to see a lot of movement here in the next few minutes, I guess, from
Yes, we were being sarcastic. We didn't want Mike Lindell to win.
yeah. No, fuck. Oh yeah, we're being sarcastic. Mike-
Yeah, don't worry. I muted that guy. Oh man, poor Mike Lindell. Bummer. It's not over yet. Keep the faith. My pillow guy actually killed people. Jesus Christ.
Did he really?
Yes, I feel like I've there's some
What
weird
the
scandal
hell?
about something like that. Yeah.
What the hell, dude? Why can't why what happened to the cartoon villains? How come everybody's an actual fucking
Yeah,
villain nowadays?
right.
Like Donald Trump isn't just a funny, goofy monster. He's an actual, literal, like evil incarnate walking on Earth, and so is Mike Lindell apparently.
Yeah, that's crazy. Someone said it's close, but the last counties are very progressive. Oh, we'll see.
I'm hoping, dude. That's what I'm saying. Like, I guess it's progressives are always we are lazy with it. I don't know what to tell you. We're a little bit slow on the draw, so hopefully it comes to our aid here.
Yeah, well, we will have to see. This is like so tight. I mean, this is crazy. Coming from 6 points down to within 0.2, 0.1, 0.3 to the lead to now back down again.
Woo.
We'll see.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go decompress after this. Do some yoga.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was good writing until, they're kind of dragging this movie out a
Oh,
little.
dragging it out. Like, oh my gosh. All these 3-hour movies need to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, Omar won her race in like a land, like it wasn't even close. Like they
Yeah.
called it super quick. So yeah, Ilhan Omar won, which is huge. It's awesome.
We're
but-
still missing about 25% of the vote out of Milwaukee.
All right, that's not nothing.
It's not nothing. We only have 20% of Buffalo still. If I can remember which ones were blank. Pierce hasn't come in at all.
Yeah, Pierce isn't like they haven't even dropped anything, right?
No, it's still at 0.
Yeah, very strange.
And really, the ones coming out of Buffalo weren't very large.
Yeah, Crowley's a big tech like AI guy.
Yep.
Yeah, he's like
He wants to bring like data centers in and all this kind of stuff. But
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how that's even gonna. That's gonna be such a fucking bad message, bro. I don't know.
yeah, dude, I don't know. Will there be a recount? We'll see.
We'll see. I don't know how close it would have to be to like be able to challenge one.
think
And
it
I don't
has-
know if it'd be smart to do one. Honestly,
I don't know if it'd be smart to do one at this point. It might just be smarter just to coalesce around the Democrat, whoever it ends up being. However, I think depends on the state. I know for presidentials, I think it's within 0.5 you can do it, but that's like on a much larger scale. So I don't know what it is for Wisconsin specifically. Like again, every state is so different.
Oh, we're getting some out of Pierce now.
Oh, yep.
Oh, huge drop from Pierce.
Nice.
95% of them came in. Hong won it with an extra 500 over.
In Pierce.
Oh, sorry. Let me.
Within
yeah,
4,000 votes for a recount, 0.2% of people are saying, okay. So it has to be pretty damn tight.
That's
It has to
pretty
be
close.
really close. So we'll see.
It's pretty close.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Whew, man, this is. You're surprised that Pierce went to Hong? Yeah, that's good. That's always what people are saying. Like, I think these are relatively progressive areas. Are there enough votes? And there's going to be can she win them with enough to close the gap? Is the question. I'm not sure. I don't know. I think the performance, she hasn't really been overperforming in areas where she might need to. So it looks like it's going to have to be relatively close here.
Yeah.
That's the sad part. Is that I really can't. It actually genuinely is too close to call. Like genuinely, which is genuinely not the case. That's like a phrase or whatever, but like it actually is.
Yeah, it's so like anyone saying they know how this is going to go is lying.
Yeah.
They don't know. Because I mean, yeah, there's like 100,000, 123,000 estimated votes remaining, but but a lot of the counties have already counted a lot of their votes, so we kind of know like statistically what the numbers are going to bring in for those roughly. That's why you can make predictive. That's why you can say projected winner, even though all the votes haven't been counted. But when it's like this close and with this amount of like differentiation in the voting blocks being so tight, it is unknown. As soon as I wonder, will corporate media start ranting about how Crowley's win will not be a mandate? Yeah, they're going to be so annoying about it.
Yeah, they're going to be, but they're
That's
going to be
the-
annoying about it either way. If she
They're
wins
gonna be
by a
annoying about
tight
it either way.
margin, or if she loses, they're just
Yeah, they're
prepare
gonna be-
yourselves for annoying media
They're
coverage.
gonna
of
be
this.
Regardless,
super
yeah.
annoying.
Even though didn't who was it? Slotkin only won by 0.2% or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Does she have a mandate?
Yeah. No, obviously, they're just looking for anything because they're scared. They're scared of the momentum that the DSA has. They're scared of the momentum that progressives have. So any loss is the biggest loss ever, and it means that the progressives are done and it's over. When that is not the case at all, right? That is just not the case. Mandate for more data centers.
Yeah.
No.
The people have
No.
spoken.
The people have
They want more
spoken.
data centers. Yes.
AI is inevitable, guys.
Oh, sorry. That probably made a crazy noise about my mic there.
Very
Sorry.
good.
Man. Yeah, we'll see. We will see.
It looks like she's trailing by about 2,000 votes now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he gained again.
Oh my
Ugh.
gosh! Oh my gosh! Yeah, tomorrow's gonna be a bit annoying. It'll be fine. I think it's one of those things where it's like they're gonna have to blow themselves out because the election is going. General election is gonna come in November, and it's really gonna have to be one of those situations in which are they going to? They can't rail against. Let's say that she loses now. You're going to have to get us on your side, right? This is 270,000, 280,000 people who would voting for a democratic socialist. You can't just ignore those voters.
Yep.
Like David Crowley's going to have a fucking hard job ahead of him.
Very true. That is very true. And we do have Peggy. We do have Peggy Flanagan. She did win tonight in major numbers. Which is so interesting. The same night, such different.
Yeah, and that's the question too, right? Why is there such a massive difference? I mean, I think it's generally, obviously, it might be just a more progressive. Not mean more progressives might make people more comfortable. It's one of those things too. You know what I mean? I don't know how somebody can square that, but clearly there are those voters who are yes for the progressives, no to the democratic socialists.
100%. 100%. Yeah. Yeah, they're both progressives. That's true.
Yeah, it's true. They're both progressives, but I guess it's one of that distinction in socialism that's Francesca Hong could have very easily ran away from it, but she didn't. She embraced it. So this might be the political cost of that decision, but I think that she was willing to be well, if I'm gonna win as a socialist, or I'm not gonna win.
Yeah.
And I think even getting this close is just absolutely insane.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. I'd rather win. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather win, yeah. Crowley's a progressive? No, Crowley is not a progressive. Crowley is a moderate, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a moderate Democrat. Again, he's better than Tom Tiffany, the Republican that won tonight for the Republican primary. So, like whatever happens, whoever loses, I think it's the smartest decision to always, go and endorse, right, whoever the winner is, just like how Haley Stevens endorsed Abdul immediately. Right, like immediately after the election was over.
Could the difference be Bernie's endorsement? I mean, that's going to be point of the conversation moving forward. It's like
maybe,
if these figures like Bernie and AOC stepped in, that might have been enough to push her over the edge.
And
I don't know.
Yeah, progressives love to point fingers at each other and argue about whatever it may be. But in this instance, yeah, if it was super, super tight, and who knows, right? AOC and a Bernie endorsement could have actually pushed her over the edge. However, we will never know now. But it is definitely another thing to talk about, of one of those things in this race that needs to be talked about, whether that is the messaging, advertising, money spent, ways of going about it, endorsements from mainstream politicians, and all of it.
Yep.
Yeah. So we'll see. Someone's talking about hacking voting machines. I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, well, that's happening.
She's barely losing without any endorsement in the mainstream media. That's true. I mean, that's true, right? Like, I think, again, we talked about this earlier. Like, in a vacuum, this is extremely impressive. It's just the optics of this look really bad on progressives because she was expected to like blow it out of the water.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, all the pollsters were saying she had such a great shot, and yet here we are. It's super tight. Again, she might pull it out. She might win. We don't know. But either way, it's going to be super close, and it's just strange that happened. Like how much she was expected to win, and then how close it is getting. Like she was much more projected to win than Abdul was in Michigan, and yet we're seeing a tighter race right now. So,
yeah, that's actually insane. Yeah, we literally started the stream thinking, well, she's projected to win more than
yeah,
Abdul.
And we were like, we're not going to be here all night.
We won't be here. It'll be an easy one.
Yeah, we thought this would be an easy one. All right, come on, Oliver Larkin next week. Be an easy one.
Come on, please, Oliver Larkin.
That one's
actually, yeah, that one's polling to be a nail biter, which is not great.
Yeah, doesn't mean anything now.
Doesn't mean anything now.
Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah, I pray he wins too. Come on, Kelda heads rise up. Maybe Kelda will save us.
Kelda, break in and steal some votes, Kelda, please.
Mm-hmm. So, man,
this is
now. Oh man,
this is a rough one. This is a rough one. Okay, how bad are we looking?
Has Carly taken APAC money? I'm not actually sure if Carly has taken APAC money.
Let's look.
Find out.
Yep, I'm on it.
Are pollsters a psyop against progressives now? Hey man,
that's what I was saying earlier. I was like, I don't know. Maybe there's a little bit of like, let's lie on these polls to get them to be more confident than they should be. I don't know. I don't know.
It is very strange and weird, right? Obviously, they could throw anything out there to be like, just try to suppress progressive voter turnout because, yeah, I'm not in Wisconsin. I can't vote in Wisconsin, but just seeing the polls for Francesca Hong, I was like, oh, she's doing great. Clearly not. So some people might have seen those and just said, man, whatever. I'm not going to vote. Like 2016. So I'm not sure. Polling is off in both directions. Yeah, that's true. They said Flanagan and Craig were said to be neck and neck, and Peggy won a landslide. That she did. And yeah, Hong was supposed to be winning at a landslide, and she has not. So
and she's neck and neck. Yeah,
it is very interesting how wrong polling has been. I think most of the Kelda voters would actually have been for Crowley. I'm pretty sure.
They all were relatively similar, if I remember correctly from the debate. I mean, Sarah Rodriguez, Joel Brennan was maybe the most different. Kelda was, if I remember correctly, was a late comer to the candidate to the race anyway, and didn't bring anything complete like super different, right? She was the same. She had the same opinions when it came to AI moratorium, which again Francesca Hong was the one that championed that and changed everyone's opinions on it anyway. So
some Kelda voters could have been for Hong actually. At least
maybe, yeah.
On that.
Yeah, and it does look like David Crowley likely takes AIPAC money. It's not confirmed, but he's weird on questions about Israel, so usually that means that they're accepting money. So.
And for whatever reason, he's not on Open Secrets or the Integrity Index.
Yeah.
So I actually can't look, which is odd, but maybe because he's not big enough of a name. And that's the other thing too. It's that like, where did his name recognition even come from? I mean, this is a man who is not like it. That to me signals that people are just doing what the DNC is telling them to do. It's not even like a
true. That's true. There's another progressive Winston, I believe, Matt Little. He was in Minnesota, and he won the House Democratic primary.
Let's go.
Also a progressive. Wanted to throw that one out there. Another progressive. So just for everyone out there, there's more progressive wins, smaller names out there that you may have not heard of, which is always good to hear. Some people are talking about ranked choice voting. I mean, yeah, it's better than a lot of the systems we have right now.
100%.
Yeah. I like ranked choice voting. I think it makes sense. Progressive. Someone asked. He's a progressive. I don't think he's DSA specifically endorsed. So
it really is. I mean, like things like ranked choice voting. Unfortunately, those things are good for democracy, which means we'll never have them.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Like
exactly.
They're trying their damnness to make sure that we don't.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like we are back up to a half a point difference between Crowley and Hong. About 3,000 votes. Not great, but again, this is what we expected from the early part of this drop. Let's hope that the remaining votes show a similar pattern.
Yep. Wow.
Watch it be like the final percent of votes that comes in.
Yeah, right.
Like.
Yeah. And these last percentages have taken a lot longer than the first ones have, which is I don't know exactly why that is. I think maybe Wisconsin count their early votes ahead of time so they can just get them out. I'm not exactly sure why. It was so quick on the jump there, and then now it's slowing down hella right when we wouldn't want it to.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
Because I may need to dip out here soon.
I was gonna say I
sure.
might have to
So we can call it in a couple of minutes, guys. Like we'll give it a 2-minute warning when 11 o'clock rolls around, because that is when we finished last time, and I also too need to leave and not had dinner.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't had dinner, and I heard a mighty growl in my tummy. So I was like,
mighty growl. Just to give a little update on the guy, Zach Domini Dunini. How do you say this name, guys? Zach Donini. Donini. Anyway, he's a data scientist with Vote Hub.
Okay.
His latest update is we're getting to the point where Hong needs to win Milwaukee AB, but that is possible. Winnebago, Dane, Portage, and Eau Claire do have some juice left, but still feel good about Crowley slightly favored. It is possible. That is where we're standing. This is what I think is realistic. So it is still up in the air and still toss up. I do really think it's going to be. I think it's going to be up in the air for sure up until the end. Someone's mentioning the AP. I'm watching the AP too, by the way. Their numbers aren't too different from what NBC is showing. So,
yep. It's gonna be another into the night, not knowing what's going on night for us, which seems to just be our pattern here that's been forming. Hopefully, it doesn't continue 3 weeks in a row.
Yes.
Because for everyone still here, we're going to be coming back next Tuesday for Oliver Larkin.
Yes.
Who is running in Florida. He is DSA endorsed. He is a progressive figure running for House against one of the worst Democratic representatives out there.
Yes, a DeSantis Democrat.
Yeah, a DeSantis Democrat. What the fuck
what the
does that
fuck
even
is
mean?
that, bro? You're like a Doge, pro Doge,
Yeah.
Elon friendly
Yeah, I
piece
don't even
of
know.
shit,
It's like,
man.
yeah, the amount of like inconsistency. Like, yeah, it's like a
Such an asshole.
his existence is a paradox. So be sure to join us for that. And then yeah, so All American's really dope. There should be a video about him coming out like tomorrow. I think of him on Sean
Tomorrow,
Hannity.
yeah,
Should
be
be
coming up
hilarious.
soon, and we'll have more.
Um,
Well, obviously,
So
we'll talk about this race tomorrow, and
Yeah.
more content following soon, guys. So thanks so
Yeah.
much for showing up. Thanks so much for all the gifted subs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you guys
huge.
so much. Like crazy props.
Yeah, shout out No Vitriol here again. One last time.
Yes.
Shout out to No
Gifted,
Vitriol
and,
here.
We had so many other donations and people
Who joined.
gifted
So
subs and all this kind of stuff. So really appreciate you guys. And if you're a first time watcher, thank you so much for joining us. Hope you come back.
yeah, and have a wonderful night.
Let's all
Put our
send
feelers.
best wishes out there for Hong.
Touch
Yeah.
some wood. Do what you got to
Yeah.
do. Put a crystal out in the moonlight. Whatever you believe.
Exactly. Yeah, where are all our witches at?
Where
Come
are
on.
witches?
come
Our
on.
Etsy
Yeah, TikTok
witches, please.
Get on it.
But we'll fill you guys in tomorrow. All right, guys, and we will hope you have a wonderful, wonderful night.
Peace out.
Bye.
Boom.
Nice.